Yeah, put into the blackmail files, of which there are terabytes. Okay.
I think the podcast is just a blackmail file, frankly.
Yeah, probably. That's
submitted to the jury. The MisanthroPod.
Hello and welcome to episode 140 of the MisanthroPod. I'm Snipe, and as always, I'm joined by Wib. Say hello.
Hello.
And I'm also joined by the lovely drummer Matt. Say hello.
Hello.
How are you lovely and bodacious gentlemen doing this fine evening?
I'm really tired, frankly.
Oh, no.
So enjoy this energy.
Okay.
Matt, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm feeling guilty that you're tired because we're late because I went to the pub, so...
Oh, I thought you had a good reason. Fuck you.
Oh, I didn't tell you why he was late. Title, this week, drummer Matt was thrown out of the podcast.
If it makes you feel any better, I'm also exhausted and regretting my choices, but...
Okay, that's good then.
How are you, Snipe?
I'm okay. In fact, I've got some pretty good and okay news.
You do.
Everyone worrying about my health. Good news is, I had my surgery about a month ago now. I can just about, I've done all my physio and I can move. I've got full movement back in my arm, and they've examined my results, I guess, and I am in remission from cancer now, which is crazy awesome, and also it still hasn't sunk in.
You have grown back your eyebrows.
Yeah, I've grown back my eyebrows, so now people can tell if I'm being quizzical.
Yeah, they've said they're not 100% grown back, but they went from nothing to just being there over the course of a few days.
Literally over a couple of days, I just got the part closest to the bridge of your nose, just those went back into existence, and I was like, now I can be raise one eyebrow, but I see, and look convincing.
Can you raise one eyebrow, or are you using your hand to raise one eyebrow?
No.
Am I the only person who can move my eyebrows independently?
I mean, in the whole of the human race, unlikely,
yes.
But in this podcast,
it's me.
Maybe.
Yeah,
well,
I can't.
Okay.
Apparently you can teach yourself, though.
Yeah, maybe if you guys didn't hate education so much, you could better yourselves by learning. Oh, that's so mean.
One of our friends spent a summer holiday basically just staring at himself in the mirror, teaching himself to do it, and then came back in September or whatever and could just do it. And then give himself eyebrow cramps showing it off. So.
I'm imagining this insane movie of this summer some fucking weird guy locks himself in a cabin with one mirror.
It's some kind of weirdly sexual psychodrama.
Yeah, it's how long, because, there's that, I can't remember what the phenomenon is, but there's that psychological phenomenon where if you look at yourself in the mirror for too long, you have an existential crisis because you become hyper aware of your face.
Maybe that's
and
what
your brain starts panicking, going, is that my face? And, so I'm imagining this horrifying, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas kind of summer holiday that your friend has spent, but with no drugs at all. Just he woke up one day and
it was 80% screaming.
He's just screaming all the time, and then he came out.
Much like this podcast, in fact.
Yeah, really. Which I keep sending to my doctors to be hey, can I have that ADHD diagnosis? And they keep being no, there's something else going on here. You need to be studied.
At least 3 more letters in this acronym.
ADHD HD. Ooh, high definition attention deficit disorder.
Don't take this the wrong way, but I feel you'd definitely be ADHD LD. Somehow low definition.
Oh, is it because I'm constantly bouncing around like a weirdo?
Yeah,
no, you just apparently have a low resolution.
No, I'm just far away.
Maybe you're in
I'm ADHD all the way over here.
We can still hear you.
Move further away, please.
Vibrate further backwards.
Anyway,
that's my good news.
Yeah,
and your friend's
great,
obviously
excellent.
had a psychotic episode, but now he can wiggle his eyebrows.
Yeah, I'm a little bit obsessed with this friend now. That's like that has such an energy about it that I don't know whether it's good or
that
bad.
literally is the start of like a dark thriller. Like, this man locked himself away for fucking however long a summer holiday's supposed to last. I don't know, I've never been on one.
It sounds like the plot of one of those.
It's definitely a Polish police drama.
You see, I was going to say it sounds like one of those Hellraiser movies that was originally written not as a Hellraiser movie, and then they just inject Pinhead in it, like late in production.
He's that's it. He was just pinning his eyebrows up. Is your friend okay now? Have you spoken to them recently?
Yeah. They're all right.
Spoken like the man who killed him.
I mean, he's a Cenobite now, but you know,
definitely still alive.
Yeah, can we get an alibi?
He's not a pain demon or anything.
On March the 17th, for the record, it was
March the 17th. That was like nearly 2 months ago.
Yeah.
A lot can happen in 2 months, don't you agree? I love how this has turned into, yay, I'm cancer-free, to Drama Matt's a fucking murderer.
Yeah.
Who somehow facilitated his friend losing his mind and dying of being locked in a room with his eyebrows
legally
stationary.
Legally, this podcast counts as an alibi.
Yes, and it's satire. I don't know if that would hold up in a court of law. I've just heard a lot of people say it, so maybe not. Who knows? Anyway, now that we've got all the...
You're doing good.
Oh, sound off in the comments. Do you think Drum Matt's responsible for his friend's untimely death? Yes or no? Right.
Anywho.
Wib. What have you been up to? How many friends have you not facilitated the death of in the past month? Oh, a lot of them.
That's a real tooth dryer of a question, that. I don't know. I should probably just instead say what I have been doing.
Go on, right. You can do.
Annoyingly, most of it has been spent, at least the last couple of weeks have been spent having a lot of mental health.
Yeah, you've kind of been having a lot of that.
Yeah, just a lot of it has been happening. I've developed this really fun thing where I just randomly get really, really anxious, spiking having a real anxiety spike for no reason, and anytime something is even mildly inconvenient or annoying, and the feelings of frustration just don't go away for hours.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, it's real cool.
No, I'm especially sorry that I was late then. So.
No, it's fine. It's fine. But yeah, the most fun one I discovered is that it's possible for me to trigger an anxiety spike by simply thinking about the fact that I am having problems with anxiety. So I'm anxious about having anxiety. So that's cool.
Yeah, okay. So that's that sums up brains, right?
I mean, yeah, it is it's the smartest, stupidest piece of meat.
Which is really weird, because not only did a brain say that, a brain has acknowledged that and still keeps doing that.
Yeah, the brain is a fucking idiot. So I won't talk about it anymore, because I'll probably just get really anxious.
That's okay.
But I think the last time we spoke, which is a bit ago now, don't look at the date, I don't think Picard Season 3 had wrapped up. But it has now. So yeah, I watched the end of that, and Picard Season 3, I enjoyed it. I thought it ended in a nice place, and I really want to see where they go with a potential spin-off series that I don't know if has been confirmed, but it pretty much openly says, "Hey, folks, do you want this?" right at the end. So
well, I mean, I've seen Jesse Gender and our friend Longfang and a bunch of other Trekkies be like, "Yeah, Picard Season 3 is really good."
Yeah,
so I'm really glad you all got something good.
It manages to be a lot of pure nostalgia, but also it's nostalgia for Star Trek: The Next Generation. So it's nostalgia I am the audience I am buying.
Oh, so it must feel pretty good to be exclusively catered to.
It was quite nice, actually, because, I mean, this isn't really a spoiler since it was in all the trailers, but it was very much a let's get the gang all back together. And it takes a while for them all to come together, but when they do, you do have that sort of moment, like they all sit down like in a ready room, and you just like, the gang's back together. And really and suddenly you kind of forget that these folks haven't all been together in one place in a series since, like, Jesus, was it like 94, 95 that TNG ended?
I don't know. I just know that it started in like 87, I think.
Yeah,
and that's all I know. Yeah.
Just always in my head, it's all like it's the 90s, but that's mostly because I was a barely conscious blob for most of the 80s.
Oh, that's me now. Don't worry about it.
Like I lived in the 80s for 4 years, and I can remember exactly one moment of it, which is that I have a faint memory of the few seconds leading up to it striking midnight on the year 1990.
Oh, really? Wow.
So I remember I have a vague recollection of like 3 seconds of the 80s.
I think probably one of my earliest memories would have been...
And that might even be a real memory. That might be one of those fake things that the brain cooks up. So who the fuck knows?
Maybe. I mean, the brain is a fucking dumb bum. But yeah, I think one of my earliest memories is getting thrown off my neighbour's like Harley. Because my dad was like, I've ridden a bike before. And they decided to take a corner at 40 miles an hour on grass with a 3-year-old child on the back.
Considering
I hit the wall, it was gruesome.
Considering your parents, it really is a miracle that you survived to be an adult.
Thank you for saying turned out normal, because there ain't fucking no way this is normal.
Yeah, I thought survived was a more...
Yeah, it's really cute because I've had, like, occasionally someone will say something to me, like, when I'm live streaming, and it'll trigger a memory, and because I just overshare, because I think all of our generation are a little bit like that, because it was still considered, like, really gay and lame if you had therapy. So, you know, that's kind of, we're the last generation of that. So I got to come out with something. And then there was one that was like, I'm surprised you've turned out as normal as you have. And I'm like, that's probably the best thing to
not
say.
normal.
But as normal as you have. And I'm like, you know what? Thank you for that concession. And it's true.
Anyway, Picard, yeah, I enjoyed it. It's wrapped up in a fun place. There's lots of fun things that happen in it. It goes to extraordinary lengths to ignore that season 2 happened.
I've heard that a lot of people who watched Picard season 2 have also done that.
Yeah, I'm like the only person that enjoyed it.
I remember your dad being like, "Fucking season 2."
I'm sorry,
Kev, that's just what everyone from Derby sounds like to me. Please don't be upset.
I don't think not everyone hated it, but it was definitely a contentious season, and I know that I liked it a lot more than most.
Yeah,
but it was still.
You enjoyed it though.
It was still deeply flawed, especially the end. The end is the part where I'm just like, no, I won't even. I can't defend that. It just sucks. So season 3 deals with that by only acknowledging season 2 when it absolutely is narratively necessary due to continuity reasons, and every other moment ignoring it. Which is quite funny. I
mean, it's also, I feel, probably quite a positive thing, because then you go, okay, so you fucked up, and that from acknowledging a mistake, the only way forward is to overcome it and get better.
I think it's all part of Star Trek's thing, which is that in the history of Star Trek, there has only been 2 shows that have had a good, like a really solid first season. And that is Lower Decks, which admittedly has a shaky couple of first episodes. But that's for Star Trek, that's pretty good. And Strange New Worlds, which has only had 1 season, but that 1 season is fucking amazing.
Is that the one where everyone in it is hot?
Yes. Yeah.
Dude, seriously, look up the cast.
There's someone for everyone in that.
Oh, there is. Also, like, I remember
I also just want to go and have breakfast in Pike's fucking, like, quarters. They're so cozy.
I remember you showed a picture, and I'm like, "That's so cozy." I'd start feeling claustrophobic. Wow.
Like obviously, you know, like there's the whole thing of like you want to go and live on your favorite sci-fi spaceship. Like there's always that. But the first time where I've seen one and gone, no, legit, not only is it on board a Federation starship, which is cool anyway, but like the quarters on the Enterprise in Strange New Worlds look so fucking cozy. It's ridiculous, and Pike's especially. But yeah, anyway, speaking of Star Trek, I also played through Elite Force 2 on stream, which is the one of two first-person shooters that were spin-offs of Voyager, of all things.
Oh.
That were made, I think, 2001, 2003, I think the two games, and I played the second one because it's the one I already had.
Oh, is that the one where it's like Chiseled Jaw McFucks a lot as the main character?
Yes,
just like the most generic, fucking boring-ass character.
Everyone hates him, don't worry.
Because, like, I'm not gonna, like, sass people who play humans in, like, fantasy games where there's other races available, but, like, I'd really like a Star Trek or a Star Wars or something when the main character is just not a human. And especially because Elite Force 2, from the time period it was, like, every main protagonist was white, brunette guy. So, but, like, how cool would it have been if, like, players like an Andorian or something?
Yeah.
And then just been a dick to everyone and fully channeling Jeffrey Combs, you know?
Yeah. Jeffrey Combs does show up in the game. He plays, like, 3 or 4 different characters.
The man has range!
Which is always fun. Actually, there's a handful of people. I always forget his fucking name, but the guy who played Martok shows up.
Oh, Crazy Eye Man.
I can never remember his name. Even throughout the stream, I kept forgetting his name. But yeah, no, that was interesting because it's obviously a quite old first-person shooter now. It has not picked up all of the conventions that modern like first-person shooters have, because though it's post-Halo, it's pre-Half-Life 2.
Half-Life 2, I don't think a lot of people realised, especially about games from, like, probably pre-Elite, like pre-Halo, like, literally all bets were fucking off with controls. There was no real, especially with first-person shooters, there wasn't really a unifying kind of thing that a lot of people would do. Like, a lot of games would do the same thing.
Well, I'll tell you how not like normal it is, like by modern standards. There's a weird, like, lean on your turning.
No.
Because it was originally set up to be like all mouse or no, like no mouse control, so you turned with A and D.
Yeah.
And you did the actual.
Well, I mean, back in
the
day,
like strafing with Q and E.
Well, back in the day, you had what was known as which was just look. And 3.5D shooters, like, you'd press a button and it'd awkwardly tilt everything upwards, and then you'd have to hit a button to reset to central, which that was if you didn't...
That'd be a 2.5D shooter, wouldn't it?
2.5, yeah, sorry.
Sorry, I was making sure I wasn't remembering it incorrectly.
Yeah, no, my bad, you're right, yeah. Which was built in for people who didn't have computers. But another fun thing about Doom, especially, was there is no height differentiation for hit scan or firing. So there could be an imp 2 stories above you, and you can't look up because that's very unnatural and it's not really implemented in the game very well.
Yeah,
so
as far as the game's concerned, it's not up. It's just...
Yeah, exactly. It's just straight ahead. Which is so you fire in like a pole almost, like a big line down the center of your screen.
Yeah.
Which is
I know.
horrible.
I love it. I love how they got around the like technical limitations for not 3D but 3D. Like,
honestly,
I looked it up at one point. I can't remember exactly how it works to explain it, but it's so cool.
Magic, I believe, is the actual.
Honestly, yeah.
John Carmack doing magic.
Because he's a warlock. Magic. John Carlock. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Anyway, Elite Force 2 is an interesting game to play because it's quite old. It has a lot of old conventions. If it's interesting in that it's kind of shit, but the kind of shit that's like quite playable. I don't know. Maybe this is a very me thing, but I have quite a fondness for that sort of post-Halo, that post-Halo, pre-Half-Life 2 era of slightly wonky shooters that usually had a PS2 port.
Yeah. You can just say Fire Warrior. You know?
Fire Warrior sits within that. Judge Dredd versus Death.
Dread versus Death was pretty good fucking pretty solid game.
Yeah, that sort of era. I don't know why I have an odd fondness for it. I think the aesthetics of that, like... I want to say it's like... It's graphics that obviously look very primitive by today's standards, but they're also good enough to basically be able to pull off everything they need to. So there's a stylistic verve to it that I find quite fun.
Can I ask, how do you feel about Deus Ex, the original?
Unplayable.
Absolutely, but like visually, like aesthetically.
Visually, oh no, I think it looks very fun visually, yeah. But I also never played it at the time, so
at the time it was fucking agonizingly difficult. But then again, I was a little baby child, so
yeah, I've never been one for the true immersive sim, so
it's like System Shock.
It's a game that throws you in at the deep end, and I have never learned to swim. One day...
Well, that's where you dump your swim...
You do. That's the one thing I know. You don't dump stat swim.
Don't put fucking anything to swim. It's a useless fucking jump
It's one of those games that I do... At some point, I do want to play through and try and actually beat it, but I know it'll be one of those things where I have to
be a real labor of love.
Go and do like a week-long correspondence course in order to understand how the game works, so I can then enjoy it on its own terms.
I will say, I have actually played this demo. System Shock 2, System Shock remake kind of thing is out.
Oh yeah.
The demo is out, and I've played a good bit of it. And it has kind of like... It does have a lot of the kind of staples of System Shock and like Deus Ex, because those games were very similar gameplay-wise. Where like you can pick up everything, but you know, just like in real fucking life, most of the shit you pick up is useless. But
Stuff where it's effectively a tabletop RPG jammed into the skin of a first-person shooter.
Kind of, yeah. And like, I'm just like... My favourite part about that is like the gameplay is fine. I don't. It's whatever. I don't think it's bad. I just don't think it's great. But what I really love is the aesthetic, because it's this space like techno space horror, but it's vibrant as fuck. It's really colourful, and you just don't get that, because you remember around like Doom 3, it got really bad for it, where it was like if it's scary, it has to be brown, or slightly less puddly brown, and it's like everything's so dull and lifeless and boring.
I always think of that as being like the era, that era of just the brown first person shooter. It starts sometime around like, it does predate it, but I think of it being like around the first Gears of War onwards.
Gears of War I think was probably one of the worst for it.
Basically I'm blaming the Unreal 3 engine.
You should.
For a lot of things, frankly.
Yeah, that's honestly fair.
Man, that texture pop-in was bad and it never got better.
Oh no, it's just because the people who made it don't know how to actually use their own engine, don't you know? The stupidest person I've ever met said that to me, and I was like, no. I was like,
are you saying that Epic Games, the people that make it, don't know how to use it?
It's like, yeah.
But you do. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, like, if you knew the whole story about that, just trust me, that person was a fucking moron. And, Drama Matt, you know who I'm talking about.
Anyway.
They're dead now. I locked them in a cabin and made them...
Anyway, yeah. Elite Force
back
2.
In March.
You didn't understand. The climate was completely different.
Oh, the Ides of March. Anyway, yes, Elite Force 2. It's an interesting game to play now. If you put it, do the sensible thing. If you ever want to replay a game of that era, pop it on easy and just bask in the particular vibe of that era.
Gotta love it.
And yeah, I was not good, and it is a deeply flawed game. But it was fun to not even revisit, because I never played that one at the time, but to sort of explore an old game that I never experienced at the time. But yeah,
I don't know. I think there's something quite special about older games that you go back to and don't hate. And it's like, I think that speaks like volumes for the game itself.
Well, I mean, the fact that I didn't just give up after one stream and play. I think it took two or three streams to finish it. Yeah. And yeah, so yeah, it was an interesting thing. The The only other thing to really mention is that so we're going to go and see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 tomorrow.
Yeah, nice.
So that'll be fun. But before that, I did a little bit ago do a thing that happens to me, which is that sort of once we got to Endgame, I basically stopped caring about the MCU in any substantive way, except for every 4 months or something, I'll suddenly go, yeah, I could go for watching some MCU stuff, and then I'll just go and binge a bunch of it in one day. So I did that again.
Okay.
And so I watched through the whole of Miss Marvel.
Kamala Khan is so good.
Which, yeah, I thought it was a cute series. I thought it was quite fun. I understand why people say that the back end of it is a bit not great. It didn't ruin it for me, but I understand where they're coming from, you know? It does lose a little bit of its verve by the end. And I also quite like it how what feels like is going to be the finale of the show happens several episodes before the end, very abruptly, and then you go, there's 2 more episodes left. What's gonna happen in those?
That awkward feeling as a writer when you think I've got 10 episodes, and then just if you've polished that one off, they tell you have 2 more.
Yeah, and rather than write a filler episode, which absolutely they could have done in the middle somewhere, no, they chose to do this.
You know what I would have done? I would have had an absolutely fucking bananas episode where it's Miss Marvel, Miss Marvel, the old one, Carol Danvers, she confesses her love for Spider-Man, but then Spider-Man's actually in love with the Hulk, and they have and there's basically this insane fucking bullshit, and at the end it's Kamala Khan writing fan fiction because she canonically is into fan fiction and reads it and writes it, and I'm like, they could have just done that, and it would have been awesome, and pissed so many weird Reddit users off. As if Miss Marvel didn't piss them off already.
I'm now just remembering what as soon as the show started, and I turned to you and went, "Oh God, she's a YouTuber." Ugh, I think I was wrong about representation. This feels bad.
I forgot about that, you fucking For the record, he doesn't mean that.
I don't like seeing my career
YouTubers.
Represented on screen. It feels weird. Just
literally say it. I've taken to saying, I'm a video editor.
Legally, I am counted as a content creator.
Legally, I'm counted as a well-kept non-binary person.
But yeah. So I watched that. Yeah. The one of the fun things, it has really creative and fun editing things. In the first handful of episodes, but as the show goes on, those kind of fall to the wayside, and it is a shame those disappeared. They're doing. I don't think there's going to be a second season of it per se, because there's another show that she's going to be in. So yeah, I think it's going to move over into there. But yeah, I'm interested to see what happens to those characters, because yeah, I thought it was fun. It was, yeah. It's also nice to have a thing where teenagers are represented who actually feel like teenagers not just 25-year-olds.
Can I say something as well? I feel like right now, Western media is obsessed with making teenagers fuck all the time and really kind of sexualize them. Even more so than just, oh yeah, the first time I got shouted at by a 50-year-old man, something sexually perverse, I was 12 years old. But actually in media, just being like Euphoria really is the pinnacle of that. Of look at all these people who look like they're 18, and now we're gonna make them grind on each other and film them in a really porny way, and it's okay, this is feeling a little intrusive. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I managed to avoid learning anything about that. So
yeah, I enjoy not knowing, because Jesus fucking Christ.
Anyway, Miss Marvel, yeah, I enjoyed it. I also watched the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, which I enjoyed a lot.
Well, it's fucking Drax and Mantis.
Yeah, it's
They're
mostly
great.
Drax and Mantis hunting down Kevin Bacon, which I didn't know I wanted. But
fair.
evidently it was something I needed. And I am. It's one of the reasons I am like my general like not really giving too much of a shit about any given like MCU movie. Like I'll occasionally go and see them if the opportunity arises, and there's occasional series that I'll go, yeah, I'll give that a shot. And generally I enjoy them, but I've just not got any burning desire to keep up with everything. But the one thing that I do generally want to keep up with is Guardians of the Galaxy, because I don't know, there's something about James Gunn's like additions to the MCU that just hit a bit different. I think part of it is I think there is the whole thing of there's that slightly very, very cynical whilst also knowing when to get all kind of like schmaltzy that he's quite good at doing. The Guardians movies do. Combined with the fact that they're not super connected to the rest of the MCU. So they don't get quite as bogged down in just being an entry on a Wikipedia article,
That's a very good way of describing it, I think.
So, yes, I'm going to go onto the Marvel Wiki, and this is going to be important somehow. Although, admittedly, as the MCU has gone on and they have to start introducing more and more obscure characters to the end of things, and you sit there and you go, I don't know who the fuck that is. Like that happened at the end of the Eternals, and I'm like, I don't know. You've shown off two characters to me, and I was like, oh, these are going to be in a future movie, and I don't know who either of them are. But anyway, yeah, the holiday special was a lot of fun. I also watched Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which. I don't know if it was good per se.
But fuck yeah, Sam Raimi.
Yeah, that's the big thing. I was watching it and going like, I am glad that someone is paying Sam Raimi to make Evil Dead in the MCU. Because it means he's got enough money to do some weird shit. I don't know. I thought it was that was a fun movie.
Some of the shots were great, and Bruce Campbell's punching himself in the face, which
yes.
is just—it's a Sam Raimi movie.
Woo-hoo. Yeah, we got a Bruce Campbell cameo, so that made me happy as well.
Did you see Ted?
I didn't see Ted.
I bet he was in. He was probably like prosthesized up to be like a kind
of.
Yeah,
he might have been in there and just didn't clock him. But
can I say something controversial yet brave? I watched a playthrough. I watched Bob Vids and Voidberger and the Scream team play through Dark Pictures. Oh god, it's like the summer camp one where Ted Raimi's in it, and he plays like an angry sheriff, and I'm like, oh my god, is Ted Raimi attractive? Because like he can act, and I'm like, oh, the man's got depth. Because the last thing I saw him acting in was fucking Sequest.
Yeah, you would have seen me watching Sequest. Yep.
And now I'm just like, oh my god. Is this an old brunette man with talent?
That's overwritten what you could last remember him playing before that, which was the racist caricature in My Name Is Bruce.
We don't talk about that. I mean, like the song, occasionally I'll get, like my friend Violet and I will get it stuck in our heads and then go, oh, that was super fucking racist! And it's so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that that's not a thing I have to think about anymore. The movie, not racism, because unfortunately that plays every day.
And if you want a version of that movie now, then you can just watch The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. It's a similar kind of thing. Yeah, it's not exactly, but it's,
you have Nicolas Cage and celebrated Chilean-American actor Jose Pedro de Pascal, and it's fucking incredible. I need to watch that movie again.
Anyway,
I'm getting
Multiverse of Madness was good. Actually, thinking on it, because I mentioned the James Gunn thing, I also watched The Suicide Squad finally. Because the first Suicide Squad, as most people are aware, was absolute piss.
I love how if if you can tell where the fucking producers have gone, holy fuck, the kids love the Deadpool! Quick, we need to spend 800 grand on 3 licensed fucking songs, and then put 400 of them in it in the first 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Because we're so scared of not being Deadpool.
Yeah, no.
You can see where the reshoots took place, and it's like, that's so upsetting.
The Suicide Squad is mountains better. Much better. It does still use a fair bit of licensed music, nowhere near as much, especially in the front end of it. It uses a fair bit, but its choices are much less obvious. So rather than in the first Suicide Squad, they're flying in helicopters, let's play Spirit in the Sky.
You can just should we just quote the Dan Olsen?
Oh yeah. Yeah, rather than doing that, it's like it goes a bit more obscure. So like at the start, you see a bunch of characters die in overly comedic ways, because this one's unlike the last Suicide Squad that wasn't filmed as a comedy, and then they reshot it to make it into a comedy. Mm-hmm. This one was shot as a like action comedy from the beginning. So yeah, when all of the everyone's getting slaughtered, and then it comes into the thing of the actual title drop, then it's Gua's these are my friends who've died.
Honestly, that makes me so fucking sad.
Well, because the people in that song are the real friends of Gua who've died, to my knowledge.
And that's but I mean, like there's the whole kind of thing that art is pain. And I think that's true in some regards. I think if you are able to channel pain or any kind of suffering into art as a way to express yourself, or maybe even like basically as a form of therapy, I think is really important. But I'm just like, that song makes me so upset.
I understand.
If any of our band died, I would be fucking inconsolable for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? I'm like, that's... but hey, Suicide Squad, Harley Quinn, hey, Puddin'.
My point is like the fact that it's like, oh yeah, we're going to put Gua in this, kind of suggests the sort of level we're working with.
That suggests the appropriate kind of tone.
But yeah, it was a lot more fun. Again, it's not perfect or anything. There's some parts where I don't think it could really settle on exactly what tone it wanted to go for.
I mean, it's not as bad as the original.
Not as bad as the original.
You can do what the fuck you like.
But still, yeah, it was pretty fun. It had some funny moments. It was good to see the character, that version of Harley Quinn, have some growth.
Well, the movies are like 15 years behind everything.
Well, yeah.
So, it's just nice to see Harley, because...
She did the healthy thing.
Yeah.
And murdered that guy.
Honestly, I would have too in Minecraft.
Yeah. Anyway, that is me. That is me. I shall turn over to the Drumbled Matthew.
The Drumbled Matthew. Matt, drummer Matt.
Yes,
Matt.
hello.
Who has been sufficiently drumbled.
I wouldn't say sufficiently.
Are you unsatisfied with the level of drumbling you're receiving?
At the moment.
Oh, out of 10 being completely satisfied, 1 being not at all satisfied, how would you rate your satisfaction levels?
At the moment, about a 3. We had a band practice a while ago, but it was like 2 months ago.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. When you come up here this way next, we'll give you a good old drumble.
Oh, thanks. That'll be good.
Bit of a drumble behind the bike sheds.
Fucking how old are you? Matt, what have you been up to? Please.
Watch some stuff.
Well, not having a cheeky drumble.
No.
Well,
at least not that I should talk about.
In front of the bike sheds, like a slut.
On top of, actually, I think you'll find.
On top of a slut. Okay. Right.
No, fine.
Anyway.
Last time we spoke, a little while ago, I was watching some Taron Egerton things. Did I ever get round to watching the Tetris film, or was I about to watch it?
You were about to watch it.
Okay. I have thoughts.
So we've now entered the Taron Egerton appreciation corner then.
Yeah.
I'm surprised of like...
It's taken this long.
I'm like the trademark Pedro Pascal fan. And I think we've openly gushed about Taron Egerton significantly more. I think it's because it's
in multiple senses of the word.
Okay. I'm more about the mustache. I just realised the sound I made could have very dodgy connotations. Because I was kind of thinking, but I was breathing out at the time, so it was like a horny walrus. That's not what I meant to put across, but it's the mustache. That's all.
Yeah, mustaches are
Mustaches are so hot.
It is weird them being back in fashion, though.
I am okay with it. I am so okay with it. But like, it's anyway.
So the Tetris film. If you don't know anything about it, don't think like Battleship's film or bloody. Who was I talking to who thought it was closer to the Pixels film? It's not that. It's closer, and this isn't an exact comparison, but it's closer to like Big Short type thing in that it's obviously exaggerated and silly, but it's kind of a documentary. Like, it's not a documentary. Like, it's based on real things and it's very exaggerated, and there's a car chase and it's a bit silly.
There's a car chase and it's like, don't you put down that Game Boy, you hear? You gotta beat the high score.
Basically, what it's about...
There's obviously a mobster in it.
It's all about the complicated story of the, like, rights of the game Tetris and how they got them out of Russia and which companies owned them and who did backroom deals to buy like the rights to the game, and someone bought the rights to like the console version of the game, but that didn't technically include like the PC or like defining what a PC was, and a PC is like a computer, but it's got a keyboard attached. So then if you're doing like a game console, that technically doesn't come under the same definition as a PC because it's not got a keyboard attached, or it's that, and it's like what is this? This game has no right to be like. It's obviously is very silly and exaggerated, like I said. So but it is closer to those sort of like self-aware documentary type films almost. It's way closer to that than a silly video game film. Like, yeah, it was surprisingly good, and not just because of the aforementioned how negative.
Okay, now I was sitting the whole thing going, yeah, copyright sure is boring, but Taron Egerton got that mustache. That would hold my attention. And also occasionally mention Tetris or Ancora Bianchi being played. I'm like, nice. Do they play Ancora Bianchi?
Which one? The Tetris
That's
theme.
the Tetris music.
Yeah, well, slightly annoyingly so, to be honest. It's like the background music the whole way through, and it never quite resolves.
I love the idea that it's like on loop constantly on like a really low setting in the background.
A little bit.
The funny
I really want an orchestral swell. Like there's like a sex scene because of course you have to have a sex scene in Tetris, and then it's like there's a big swell of, and then the woman's fucking waist disappears. Oh my god.
The weird thing is that
because they've slotted together.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Fine.
You have gone a wonderful shade of beetroot, my dear.
Because I didn't even know what I said until I said it. And now
yeah, I didn't pass what you'd said until a few seconds later.
Really?
Apparently I am the only one immune to this.
It's funny because sex.
Fuck. That was so fucking horrible. I'm sorry. You were talking about a mustache. Carry on.
I was just going to say that as Cora Bianchi, or however you're supposed to pronounce it, which, if the people at home may not know, it's sort of like a Russian folk song, which is, when you think of the Tetris theme, that's the Tetris theme. But the funny thing is, it's only, like, it was originally only used on the Game Boy version. Yeah,
and it was like only on it was Type A.
Yeah, Type A.
Because you had it on your old one where it still had instructions for, like, the Soviet Union.
Yeah, my original Tetris instructions are like the original printing of the Game Boy one, so it still mentions the Soviet Union in it.
It's like we had textbooks when I was at that private school that was still like printed in West Germany. Which is like,
I thought you were going to say they were talking about the Russian Revolution as something on the horizon.
It's like, them Russians are getting uppity.
Napoleon's getting awfully bold.
Getting a bit bold. To be fair, that's where the mental space of all my teachers and the school itself was. So,
But yeah, it's funny how that became like the Tetris theme, considering it's just from one version of Tetris, but it's the one that most people played, so it makes sense, I suppose. But I just find that interesting that it is known as the Tetris theme, despite the fact that it was just a Russian folk song anyway. But yeah, and that's and it's just from one thing. So lots of versions of Tetris were released before and after it that don't have that song in it.
Although now they control better, because I was reading up on Wikipedia about this now, because I was like, I want to see what of this film is actually true. So they control now a bit better as to the standards of Tetris games and things. So I think they all have to have it now or something. I can't remember.
Yeah.
It's a surprisingly good film, and it's not at all what you'd expect it to be. The weird thing was watching it though is because it's obviously very dated because it was set in 1980 whatever year it was, but it's all about this upcoming new console, and then one of the secret things is handhold, and then who has handhold rights? But no one has handhold rights because no one's had a handhold before. It's not a thing.
It's this cutting edge thing.
So it's all about this, and I was like, yeah, but I had that Game Boy, which came with Tetris game. The whole thing was they were making loads. He managed to persuade Nintendo to ship. He had the rights to the game, and he was trying to persuade Nintendo to don't ship it with Mario, because if you ship a Game Boy with Mario, it'll be a big hit with kids. But if you ship the Game Boy with Tetris, it'll be a big hit with everyone. Was his sort of thing, is how he persuaded them to do it. So Tetris came with all of the Game Boys. But I was I had that Game Boy, and I had Tetris on that Game Boy, and this is all it's I feel old, watching this thing that's set in the 80s, and
dude,
but, yeah,
we are old. Everyone among us, apart from us two, have kids. Because if you have a baby, you can't be the baby. So that's why I don't have kids. That, and I like having my Black Series on ground level, so I can kick fucking, I don't know, Palpatine every time I walk past him. I don't have Palpatine. I am looking forward to getting Palpatine. But yeah.
Black Series just makes them sound like dildos. Sorry, they just does.
Kind of dildos you buying, mate?
Black Series.
Series, obviously.
What?
But yeah, Tetris. Go check it out if you want a good film.
Oh,
yeah.
Well.
I can imagine you awkwardly smiling and giving a thumbs up. Go and watch it if you like watching a good film.
Yeah. The other thing we've been watching. And we've got through the first series and a half, and then we ran out of Disney subscription.
Yeah, that happens.
So we might get around to watching the rest of it, possibly by some means. But Reservation Dogs. So
I have not heard of that.
We started watching it because we thought it was Taika's new series. And it sort of is, apart from it actually isn't. So him and... It's all set. It's filmed in Oklahoma. It's the first series to be shot entirely in Oklahoma or some weird specific fact. But
what a weird brag.
It's very specific.
But it's set on it's about Native Americans, and it's set on one of the reservations, hence Reservation Dogs. And it's about a group
play
of
on Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah, the logo is kind of ripping off, but it's not at all related other than the name.
Okay.
But it's basically a bunch of teenagers growing up in a pretty rundown area, and just how they get by, and they're trying to save up to move to California because they want to get out of it and stuff. But yeah, it's really interesting. But it was created by Taika and some other guy that I completely can't remember the name of, because he's not done that much else. He's not like a bigwig or whatever. But
he's not famous enough for you to remember him.
Well, I mean, yeah, this is speaking as a privileged white bloke, but he's a Native American filmmaker, and they don't get advertised as much as a lot of other things. But yeah, so Taika was involved in creating it, and then before, the idea was they were going to share directing duties and share writing duties, and it got into the project, and Taika was like, you know what, I don't feel like I should be the voice to tell this story, so I'll stick my name on it still, so it gets advertised and marketed more, but actually I'm going to step back from this, which is pretty cool, because it's not his story to tell, which is great.
Still in Hajo?
Yeah, that rings a bell. I haven't said it. Yes. I haven't said it out.
Oh, it's Hajo. I don't know. I'm probably pronouncing that incorrectly.
But yeah, it's We again and you watch the first episode or two, and you think it's going to be sort of similar to Taika's, because we went into it before I found that out. I just went, oh, it's Taika's new thing, cool, we'll watch it. And I was expecting it to be like, What We Do in the Shadows and all his other ones, which are like comedies basically. And yeah, it's got funny bits, but man, bits of it are dark. Like content warning for like all manner of stuff. It is pretty brutal. We could get to the end of an episode and we both sat there crying, and I just turned to Ruth and be like, comedy?
Oh god!
We were watching it to expect something lighter, and we were like, oh, this will be, because we usually have like a light 20-minute episode of like light thing, and then we'll have a serious, in inverted commas, like series going on at once, and we'll watch one or the other depending on what we're in the mood for. And this is meant to be our like light-hearted, easy thing in between watching Succession, which is the other thing we're watching at the moment, which is pretty dense, I guess is the best way of phrasing that one. I'll come on to that. But yeah, it's pretty brutal in bits of it, but there is also very funny bits in it too, and there's so many actors that we obviously hadn't heard of before, and they're all great. And it's just about these teenagers that are growing up and trying to get out of there, but also not, because their families are there. And yeah, it's really good. And yeah, we watched there's a couple of seasons out now, because we've just not, it's on Disney Plus, and we haven't had Disney Plus for a while, so we only got around to watching it. But yeah, can definitely recommend. It's just don't go into it thinking it's light and easy breezy. It's potentially take some spoons. I assume every episodes have content warnings, and I won't get into spoilers and things, but check out if you've got any particular triggers or anything, just double check before, because there's quite a lot of stuff.
Well, I mean, like, just the subject matter alone, I'm like, I grew up in a real shitty town, real dirt poor, and I'm like, yeah, I can imagine there's some fucking grim shit to write about. I've done most of it.
But also, genuinely heartfelt moments, and also really funny moments. So really well done. Really, really enjoy it. And then reading up about a bit of the background of it and things makes it seem quite nice as well.
Nice.
But yeah, can recommend.
Yeah, when I've got the spoons, that's on the list for when I have spoons to deal with it.
Yeah. And the last thing we've been watching, we've only just started now, but there's the latest season of Succession's on, which is, I don't know if I ever spoke about Succession.
I don't think so.
It's basically Rupert Murdoch and his whole media empire, but like not. It's about a made-up family and a made-up.
It's about
media
Schmoopert Murdoch.
Schmoopert
basically.
And the bastard empire.
All of the like how awful a human being. Rupert Murdoch.
Schmoopert Murdoch is.
Schmoopert Murdoch. Now I've said Schmoopert Murdoch. I can't remember what his actual name is.
Schmoopert Murdoch.
Logan Roy is the thing, and he owns Roy Co, but it's also Waystar.
Logan Roy is a really Aussie name.
And it's
might as well have called him.
Murdoch is Australian, so like.
I know. It's like might have called him Brett Canberra. Fucking.
It's
Drongo.
It's Brian Cox, the not scientist actor. Brian Cox. Doing the role, and he's just amazing.
Brian Cox is in.
I can't for life think off the top of my head what else he's done.
2.
Everything.
X-Men 2. Is he Striker?
Yeah.
Oh, Striker! Yeah.
Loads of other stuff as well. But yeah,
he's been in good things as well.
I always confuse him with Rip Torn.
Yeah,
they had a very similar look, Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, he's a pretty good actor. That's cool.
But yeah, no, they're great. And it starts off like the first season. He has like various heart problems. He has a stroke or something, and it's all about succession. It's about there's 3 kids, and it's like which of the kids is going to take over, if any. And it's apparently it's all based off basically stuff that has happened in bloody Murdoch Empire thing. But like apparently, I was reading the other day, like there's so much awful, horrendous stuff in terms of like dodgy dealings and law breaking and stuff, and apparently the guys who wrote it.
Are you saying that the person who owns the company that literally went to court over hacking a dead girl's phone maybe have some shady shit going on around them?
so much shady shit that the writers they couldn't. Obviously, they don't include literal example like the things that happen. Although they probably do because there's so much stuff. Some of it's bound to overlap. But like they were complaining
forgotten half the shit he's done.
But they were complaining that they had to tone it down so much because they're like, if we just make this into a series, it would just not be believable. Like no one would buy it at all. Yeah. Like they've had to tone it down. Such awful things happen. It's ridiculous.
There's a part in the last BoJack season, because I caught up with that. Where literally Diane is talking to like it's obviously play on like one, you know how like every company's owned by like one of 5 companies, and these 5 companies own every fucking thing.
Yeah.
And it's like this guy, it's like this, I can't remember what it is.
It's
White Whales, and like he buys the place that Diane's working for. Diane is a journalist, if you don't know any BoJack, and there's like, she's like, I got to get some dirt on this guy. Like, this guy is like capitalism, like Mr. Capitalism. He's disgusting. The shit he's done. And she interviews this person whose like husband was killed on the factory floor, and they literally just like swept him to the side and kept working. Like, you know, which, you know, is pretty fucking mild considering what actually goes on in a lot of places like that. And she confronts him with that. And she's like, you killed this guy. And he goes, oh, I absolutely killed him. Yes, I killed him personally. And she's like, what the fuck? Okay, great. I've got you. You're going down. I'm fucking taking this to the police. And he's like, ha ha, you idiot, you rube. Don't you know? Billionaires can commit murder now. It's legal. And she's like, there is no way that, okay, that's legal. And she like checks the phone. And I'm like, again, it's like, haha. BoJack Horseman spitting some actual, like, literally, billionaires can do what the fuck they want.
I think my favourite grim joke like that from the entire series is, I can't believe that they hate women more than they love guns.
And Princess Carolyn's like, really? Fucking, that's the teeth. Oh, I love it.
Oh yeah, I watched that series a while ago and I forgot all this, but yeah, it's great.
Oh fucking Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I watched that with you because I'd seen the last season ages and ages ago, but I rewatched most of it with you, and I like how
I thought it was incredibly well done, which is why you should pay writers. Yeah, you know, because they make the stories that keep us happy, and you know, realize that maybe something's a bit fucked.
Yeah, solidarity with writer strikes. Just strikes in general, frankly.
Solidarity with strikes, and oh no, they're not, don't be disruptive. Absolutely, strikes are supposed to be disruptive.
The point of a strike is to be disruptive.
If you're not being disruptive, then they're never going to fucking listen to you.
If the nurse is striking, or the teacher's striking, or whoever's striking is causing disruption, and it's horrendous, and you can't deal with it at all, just fucking pay them.
Yeah, you know,
like, it's one simple answer.
No one strikes for fun. It is not a fun thing to do. Sorry.
It's not. It's a horrible fucking thing. It's a scary fucking thing to do. And these people are doing it because they fucking need to. Yeah. And, like, I literally sat there in a fucking, like, one of those, like, plastic gown, like, hospital gowns after getting a fucking nipple injection and, like, getting my like, cancer measurement clip removed. I was sat in the waiting room. I was fucking scared. The nurses there made me feel okay. They made me feel as safe as they possibly fucking could. And on the TV, it was this dumb fucking piece of shit woman who I don't think has anything to do with it. But of course, she's rich, so let's interview the dumb cow. And she was like, I think they should be uninvited from the king's coronation, which the monarchy is another thing that don't get me fucking started on right now. And also, I think they're being greedy and people are getting hurt because of that. That's like, so they should just get paid whatever they get offered and just be happy. And I'm like, the only fucking reason I'm alive is because of these people. Pay them whatever the fuck they want. They deserve it.
Yeah.
These are the people who keep your grandmother alive. They keep your fucking nephew alive when he's fallen in a pool. These people are fucking vital to the survival of humanity. And you got money for war, but you can't pay fucking nurses and doctors?
Yep.
Fuck you. Yes, you can. get so mad.
No, it's true. It's true.
So the fact that they have to strike, this is not something that they've just gone, oh, let's have a little bit of a strike, can't be bothered working. No, they want to be working. And this emotional blackmail that's perpetuated by people like Rupert fucking Murdoch, that's turning the country on essential workers that keep us fucking alive. That's the fucking problem.
They're only essential when you can pay them by clapping.
Exactly.
Or by doing donuts in a boat on the Thames.
It's like, yeah, grats. How are they supposed to pay their fucking rent?
Yeah.
How are they supposed to, like, fucking, the emotional baggage of being a nurse or a doctor, the majority of people, I know, I couldn't do it. I was planning to be a nurse, and I don't think I could do it. And, like, if they're striking, that's the last, like, effort. That's the last thing. Because they will have taken polite complaints, all these kind of like written kind of we need fucking more money to the like correct parties that can do something about it, and they've been fucking ignored. The fact that they are striking proves this, that they have been fucking ignored.
No one's first option is a strike.
No one's first option is a strike. So I mean, I'm preaching to the fucking choir here. I just get so mad about it.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know what it is about my brain. I have a lot of trouble putting it into words, so I can't even bitch about this on Twitter. Because I just go, give Dr. Man money. I just can't do it.
I try and do that on Twitter, but I did when we had the local elections recently and the Tories did really bad. I did just tweet like, eat shit, Tory.
Yeah.
And like,
sometimes you don't need to say any more or less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, sometimes I feel just being blunt about it is helpful. An interesting thing about
this is the thing. This capitalist kind of fucking death cult, because that's what it is. It is an unsustainable bullshit model that's been around for like 200 years, and it has only shown that it makes the majority of us fucking miserable and means that the majority of us fucking die. Privatized healthcare is literally just a genocide against the poor. That kind of shit is like capitalism. It's like the system isn't broken. It's working as intended. And that's why we should be so fucking angry at it. And, this is why they're trying to make, like, voter suppression by basically meaning that, you don't have enough money for an ID? Guess you can't vote for, like, some like, parties that will, like, actually acknowledge that having not as much money is very, very bad.
Like, some people who have trouble getting IDs, like, say, people who are going through transition and can have trouble with that.
UK's favourite fucking punching bags right now. Okay, I'm going to stop because I've kind of been sitting on these feelings for a while. I don't know if you can tell. But yeah, I like BoJack Horseman. Pay people fucking a thriving wage because you can't afford it.
I was just going to say, because at the start that was about the whole writer's strike thing. I did notice, like it's interesting about the writers' strike that one of the big things about it is the AI thing, and that's one of the big things is to make it so that a writer then doesn't just become someone who edits something that ChatGPT wrote.
I hate this AI shit so much
because it's obviously it's all sampled from existing. It's all bollocks. It's not artificial intelligence. It's
just getting better at sewing other people's work together.
Yeah, it's just procedurally generated. It's not AI. But yeah, and so that's interesting that they're going for that, and also for to really deal with residuals off streaming. Because, like, there's so much shenanigans about, like, the shit we complain about Netflix, about, like, why have they, like, released a series, and then, like, they're releasing half of it now, and then half of it in 6 months' time, but it's all season 1. And it's because they know that if they had to pay for season 1 and season 2, they have to pay the crew more for season 2, so they just pay them for 1 season, but they split it in 2. So it's effectively 2 seasons, but they only have to pay them at the season 1 rate.
So basically, all of us suffer, so Netflix maybe, like, doesn't even, like, doesn't lose 0.5% profit.
Well, wasn't all the stuff that was taken down off various streaming services by Warner Bros. Discovery was a lot of it was to do with not having to pay residuals to people for streaming services, and it's like so you realize that it's so much of the messed up shit with our in theory we should have the best media distribution stuff. You should just be able to turn on your TV and go, okay, well, on one of these streaming services, basically everything that has ever been made should be on one of them.
It was,
but it's not. It's not because of mostly very stupid reasons and greed, largely. Mm-hmm. And it's it's fucking wild.
But yeah,
solidarity to the writers' strikes.
Yeah, solidarity to strikers in general.
I am fine, because sometimes people sit there and go oh, it would, but if this goes on, they won't be able to make the things you like as quickly. And I'm like, I don't care. I'd be fine if we just stop it, if, all movies and TV shows just stop being made for, I could deal with many years of not doing that. Because for a start, there is functionally infinite things for you to watch already. So you don't need it. If it not being made allows people to get a better deal for the art and hard work that they do, that's cool.
That's incredible. That's encouraged. We want that.
Yeah.
And also, I don't think we have any, critiquing capitalism, and yet you participate in it. I am very intelligent. I don't think we have any of those in our audience, but just in case we do, fuck off. You're not smart.
I am not going to argue against that point because it is asinine.
That point is fucking stupid. It's okay, so I go live in a fucking bush somewhere. Okay, that's completely unrealistic and unlivable. Congratulations on telling me, for basically communicating to me with that you have a good life. I'm glad that you have a good life and that you think you can just do that. You can't. But nice try. Maybe think about it some more. Anyway,
this has been the MisanthroPod Rant Corner. It's a new feature
where we talk over Drummer Matt's section, and I'm very sorry.
No. It's I mean,
if
this is not surprising to anyone who listens to this at this point. I would hope,
dude, you would be fucking surprised. Occasionally, I'll be like, capitalism bad," and someone in the comments will be like, "I put up with you and your anarcho-communism until now, but now I hear that you don't like capitalism. Oh, I'll take my ears elsewhere." And it's like, okay, bye.
If it helps, I could add to this segment and have a big long rant about how Keir Starmer is a lying liar who lies all the time.
Yeah,
and stinks like a butt.
Yeah.
Anyway, Drummer Matt, what else have you been up to? Huh?
I mean, still mildly better. Mildly better than the alternative, but not particularly.
I'm not actually sure how much. I think we might be getting into newly formed. We're going to develop some new quantum microscope in order to be able to really hone in on the actual difference.
No, I don't want to defend him at all, and that is not what I'm doing. But I feel like everything would be shit if he was in charge, but less people would die. Which at this point is at least it's something. I'm not I don't really believe me. Do not want to defend him too much, but I think the current shitters are just just straight up killing people at this point.
Yeah.
So I don't know,
Anyway, let's talk about funner things.
Fucking
anyway.
depressing. But Succession is fucking depressing.
Oh wow, really? Tell us about the televised depression. That sounds awesome.
All of the characters are they're not you love to hate them. You just straight up straight up dislike or hate them, and you disagree with all of their motives. At any given moment, pretty much any of the characters could just retire. They're all working out how best to optimize their money, but all of them have enough money to just never work again and be fine. It's just, why are you making these choices? But it is very engaging to watch, and it's really well made. Yeah. But yeah, depressing for different reasons to a lot of the other stuff. But
depressing, but in a way that you're sitting down to watch a TV show and pretend that this isn't what the world is like.
But yeah, according to his Wikipedia page, it's a black comedy, but I'm not sure it is.
Fuck off, is it a black I'm sorry, what I've heard about it's that kind of I'll cry because I'm so angry. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it is engaging telly, and yeah, we're enjoying it. That's not the best word, but
you're consuming it as media.
Yeah, no, exactly. As the media whores we are. But yeah, that's me. That's me done.
Oh, okay.
DUN done.
My father was a nun.
What? He was nothing.
Still is.
Hey.
Oh, I got chills.
Snipe.
Hi.
What have you been up to apart from fucking kicking the shit out of cancer?
Oh yeah, cancer is my bitch. But yeah, I've been watching a bunch of scary movies. Actually, there was one.
Including the new scary movie that they're apparently making.
No,
they're making a new scary movie.
Didn't I see that somewhere?
No, they've made a new Scream, so I wouldn't be surprised if the Wayans brothers needed a new deck or something, or like wanted a swimming pool. Or like fuck it.
But Scary Movie wasn't good at the time.
I know.
You forget how nostalgia works. Oh no, you're very aware how nostalgia works.
Oh yeah.
You want to forget how nostalgia works.
It pays our rent.
Shh! Don't let him peek behind the curtain.
The curtain that we paid for with nostalgia. Anyway,
other scary movies.
Yeah, okay, so I have to preface with this that this is not spelled like the way you think it is, and it is indeed a horror movie. Come play? It's COME play. I know some people spell it like that, but no.
All right.
Come play with me.
So it's not something you can Google very easily.
Don't, yeah. Especially because the main character is a child on the spectrum. Yeah.
I feel so uncomfortable right now.
Honestly, the name is they really should not have done that. But it was an interesting one. It was because it was basically like, what if our phones had demons in them? And it doesn't make the kid gay, or because that would have been very funny for the wrong reason. But no, it's basically like this kid is he's nonverbal. Which I have a big problem with that, with one thing they do with it. And they basically, there's a weird demon in his phone, and it's called like Johnny or something. It's been a while since I've seen it. And like it has
a demon in his phone. It's called Twitter.com.
Yeah. It hired like an illustrator or something to put like Johnny is lonely and there's this spooky black and white. It's like, like Don't Starve, like that kind of style. Kind of like illustration, and it's like, and the demon just fucks up everything, and it's making the kids scared, and like there's a cool part with a sticky hand, the sticky hand that your mum would always get mad at you for like putting literally anywhere. Like you get them out of like vending machines, like little gacha things, and it's got like a little red sticky. It's like a gummy hand.
It's like a sticky hand, and it's like got a long string thing attached to it.
Things that get, those things. Yeah, my mother would be like, "Don't do it in the windows," and I'm like, "Okay." So I did it on the walls, and there's handprints on the walls. And she'd be like, "Why are you doing that for?" I was like, "Because you told me not to do it on the fucking windows, Glennis, you idiot." Yeah, I was a very mouthy 7-year-old. But yeah, and it's like this monster travels through like electricity. So if you're Amish, you're safe. There's nothing's getting in there. You're completely fine. And I will spoil one thing that really pisses me off, because like the mum and the dad's just a piece of shit garbage who doesn't pay attention to anything. And it's just like, hey, women raised a baby. He's not Italian American or anything. I just thought that accent would fit for some reason.
Apparently.
Which sounds like I'm being really mean to Italian Americans, and I'm not. Yeah. But he's always fucking around and just not bothering like to raise this kid who obviously he has special needs, so there's like a bit more like nuance to raising him. And so the mum's like doing her best, and then like credit where credit's due towards the end of the movie, like at the end of the movie, the dad's like, he has a notebook where he's like writing stuff down, and like he's listening to his son's like carers and stuff, and like taking notes, and I'm like, okay, that's growth. That's really good.
I remember that bit in the movie, because I saw some of this, and I when I saw that bit, I did go off on like a 5-minute like positive rant to the prop department for putting together the book that he's going through, because there's so many little touches to it, like all the notes in it and stuff that are like really good for illustrating how that character has grown simply through a prop.
Yeah, and like the fact that he's
I'm
near the
very
end...
fun at parties.
Oh yeah, he is. But yeah, it's like near the back, it's like he's nearly filled up the notebook and you can see he's gone back to it, there's reference tabs, and it's like, that's really cool. But my biggest problem with this is like, I feel that they should have had somebody who like, as a consultant for someone who's like, is on the spectrum, like, you know, or like, you know, like a psychologist or someone, while writing, to kind of tell them like, hey, at the end of the movie, don't make the child who is nonverbal suddenly verbal because it's a heartwarming moment. Don't do that, because that shows you that like being verbal, like autism reacts to, like, you know, oh, have you been nice to this kid? Then he'll talk. It's like, that's not the way that works. Some people are just nonverbal, and that's okay.
Yeah,
and that did really piss me off. But it's like, it was a nice idea.
It treated it like the reward for the mother being a better mother was child less autistic, which is a fucked up
I genuinely don't think it was written like that.
No, but
that's how it comes across, and it came across really gross. But yeah, it was fine. I saw season 8 of Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh, nice.
Holy
is that
shit.
That's the last
That's
one?
the last season.
Yeah, okay.
And whoa.
They do it quite well, right?
They honestly, like, I've seen loads of people be like, oh, it's the worst season. It's like, no, I think this is one of the best seasons, because they sit there and go, holy shit, the systemic problem of police is just... I mean, they're quite optimistic, because it's like, you know, there's still a couple, like, where they're, like, trying new things, like, a couple of the cast who are trying new things and have actually, like, made progressive steps to make a change, and are acknowledging that there is a severe problem, and are doing stuff to fix it. And it's like, I think that's really cool. I like kind of how they go about it, and honestly, like, mad props to the writers for being like, oh, we can't, oh my god, fucking hell, we can't keep doing this. And I'm like, there's so many other, like, you know, other fucking police procedurals that are just like, we're fine, we can ignore it, we're not the people who get fucking shot to death by these guys.
It does feel like given that the show is was this, hey, it's this show that's like quite progressive, but also happens to be set in a police department with cops as the main characters, and then 2020 happened, where all the things they'd not been entirely ignoring, but mostly ignoring, came to a head, and it was like they basically had the choice of like acknowledge it or ignore it, and
honestly, most
acknowledging, they acknowledged it, and I think a way that was better than a lot of shows do.
So I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. Oh, okay. I watched a horror movie that literally had me fucking like, I am a person where I'll be watching movies and I'll be on my phone because I have suspected ADHD, and just sitting there watching a screen is not enough stimulation for me. So I can read a fan fiction on my phone and watch a movie and take both in. I
was going to say, do those ever blend together?
No, not really. No. Pedro Pascal isn't in this movie. But Taron Egerton, no, he wasn't.
That's really weird in Schindler's List, where
Pedro Pascal shows up and just is like asking me to marry him.
Where Din Djarin shows up and offers to and asks you what your order.
To start a fucking leaf blower. I told you what.
You know the movie I did say it was within Schindler's List.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was intentionally making it non-sexual.
I just didn't notice that until now. Yeah. Anyway, this movie, Oxygen, is a French movie, a French horror movie, a sci-fi horror movie. Which, Jesus Christ, the woman acting in this, because you basically see, it's very kind of like enclosed space. So it's horrifying, but this woman wakes up in like a cryopod, so it's set in the future, and there's like this gross second skin that's over her, and she kind of tears out of it, and she's like woken up prematurely, and she's like panicking because she's got like amnesia, like temporary amnesia from like all the chemicals and stuff that have sedated her, and she's freaking out, and she's like, why the fuck am I in cryo? Like, I'm terminally ill, because like she's like, that must be it. Like, because that's what you do with people. That's what you do. And like, she's like talking to the AI in her pod, and the pod's like, oh, and she's like, oh, who's the person who's this pod is assigned to? And it's like, no data. And she's like,
helpful.
Okay. Where am I located? No data. And it just won't fucking cooperate. And it's like, it's really like intense. It's so fucking tense and scary. And like, it's woken her up because she's got 35% oxygen left. And it's like, and like the fucking AI's gleefully being like, oh, that hysterical kind of sobbing fit you're having, you're gonna like suffocate way quicker. So, maybe don't do that. And it's like, that's fucking so terrible. You're buried alive. That's terrifying, and she's trying to like break out the seal, and like every time she tries to damage the pod, like a little like stun prod comes out and zaps her because she's damaging company property. And she's like, what the fuck? I've got this much air left and no one's coming to help me. And like, oh my god, I was literally on the edge of my goddamn seat the whole time.
You weren't on the edge of your seat, because I remember you watching this movie.
It's a figure of speech, you dweeb.
No, you were crawling, like cringing yourself into a ball at certain points in that movie.
Yeah, there's a scene where she removes a particular plug that is like full of nutrients, and like that's as personal like trigger of mine. It fucked me up. But it wasn't gratuitous. It was just like, well, yeah, this would happen. And it's just, oh my god, it's incredible. Incredible movie that is like, it's just like super mysterious, and it's like really like trying to figure out like, what the fuck is going on. You're like weaving this kind of like pulling on these little threads here and there, and it's just, can heartily recommend. It's called Oxygen, and I saw it on Netflix. It's very good. I saw The Predator.
The Predator.
I am a gargantuan Predator fan. I fucking love Predator. Probably my second favorite movie of all time. My first one being Terminator 2 Judgment Day. So this one stars Boyd Holbrook, who was...
He's not a real name.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not a real name. Don't believe it. No, Boyd is a real name, but Boyd Holbrook sounds like the sort of name... It sounds like from the list of names in...
that baseball game.
Fuck, what was the Mystery Science Theater?
Fuck if I know. I never
like one where they kept listing off. It's where Big McLarge Huge comes from.
I don't know, but I love Big McLarge Huge. But yeah, anyway. So, The Predator. Now, there was a lot of controversy around it. Like, I'm not going to go into that because ew. But basically, I was staying up late. I had a bout of cannot fucking sleep, and I need to get some miniatures painted for something, we need to release that we're contractually obligated to. So, oh fuck, let's just put that on. Why not? I need the noise. It's not great. It's not very good. I like Boyd Holbrook. Yeah, he was in Narcos and he was in We Can Be Heroes, which honestly, you know what makes the movie better? Because in We Can Be Heroes, he plays Miracle Guy. Acting opposite celebrated Chilean American actor Jose Pedro Pascal as just Marcos Moreno, the leader of the heroics. And I kind of headcanon like, okay, he got bored of being a superhero. Goes with Marcos Moreno. They change identities to go take down Pablo Escobar in fucking Colombia, right? So then Boyd Holbrook, not his real name. Obviously, his real name is Miracle Guy. After Javier Peña gets like shipped back to the US for breaking a bunch of police laws, which in the 80s, fucking hell, you really got to be not white to get punished. Steve Murphy, he gets bored and he goes, you know what, fuck this, I'm gonna go fucking join the Rangers and be a counter sniper. And then The Predator takes place. That's where Steve Murphy ends up.
Okay.
Steve Murphy and Javier Peña are real people.
Thank you for confirming that.
Yeah, just in case anyone doesn't know. Yeah. But yeah, and like it starts out like basically how the first Predator movie starts, which is Predator ship in space. But this one's opening, it's being chased by another Predator ship, and it's like, oh, whoopsie, time to go to Earth. That's cool. They have, my biggest pet peeve about like a lot of sequels, especially to older movies, is that they have to quote them directly, just so you remember you're watching a Predator movie. And I'm like, don't do that.
You would hate the first 10 minutes of Lightyear.
Yeah, I probably would.
I literally, it's so full of those. I was like, oh man, if the rest of the movie is like this, I don't think I can stick this out. It doesn't. It's not like that. But yeah, it's real bad.
But yeah, no. See, Terminator 2 can get away with that because
recontextualizes
it
them.
Recontextualizes. You know, the "Come with me if you want to live" is first said to Sarah by Kyle Reese, and then it's said to her by the Terminator that basically killed Kyle Reese. So, you know, that's like a whoa. That's, you know, again, recontextualization. It's actually incredibly well done, and it's also my favorite movie of all time. So I might be a little bit biased. A smidge. But yeah, they have a woman in it who's a scientist, and she's just there because I think they wanted a woman in the squad. But they basically have the Suicide Squad, but it's crazy people. So you've got, you know, all these like. These people are brought in by the military police. You've got Stephen Murphy, who's like, they're like trying to label him as crazy because he saw an alien, which he did. He saw the Predator ship crash and he like swallowed something. I don't know. He swallowed like the stealth ball that helps Predators turn invisible. He shipped the helmet and one of the gauntlets off to his fucking P.O. box, which ends up at his family's house anyway. And they're like basically trying to brand him as a crazy man because it's like, oh, this guy went crazy, killed his 2 squad mates, and says it was aliens, you know, so they can cover it up. And he's put on the literal loony bus. I'm not being insensitive. Where there's Keegan-Michael Key, who is put there for being painfully unfunny during America's Funniest Videos. I'm sorry, that does Keegan, feel like... I love you, but you don't deserve to go to heaven.
I wouldn't go that far, but I do feel he does deserve some punishment for hosting that show in the manner that he did.
Funny.
It is really bad.
It is really bad. He's better in The Bubble, which is not a good movie. But yeah, he's this movie's Hawkins, but with your mum jokes.
Oh.
And
when was this made?
It's like a few years ago. Yeah, and it also drops the R slur twice, but it's okay because Stephen Murphy's son is on the spectrum. Wait, no, I don't know why that's okay, and it wasn't funny either.
Cool.
Because yeah, his kid gets the Predator mask and can immediately decode the Predator language, and is like pinging out basically this mask location to the Predator, who escapes captivity with Dr. Woman. Who, like, she literally looks down at the sedated Predator and goes, "You're one beautiful motherfucker." And then she might as well just turn to the camera and go, "Remember when Arnold Schwarzenegger said that?
When he said it was an ugly motherfucker?"
When he said it was an ugly motherfucker, but I said it was beautiful motherfucker. See, that's, So the Looney Squad. You've got the head guy who tried to frag a commanding officer.
If you want to have someone looking at an alien and talking about how beautiful it is...
No, I don't want the fucking alien resurrection with Brad Dourif.
It needs to be Brad Dourif.
No, and he's like licking the fucking screen. Yeah. It's so uncomfortable.
It's really uncomfortable.
I mean...
But it's Brad Dourif. He's good at that.
Oh, Brad, what an incredible actor. Fucking...
Actor I like to see in things.
Yes, very much so. But yeah, anyway, the Looney Bus. So we have the head guy who tried to kill his OC... and then shot himself in the head, but then he was like, oh shit, guess I'm still alive and fully functional. I'll walk to the medical tent.
Okay.
And so they put him in the Looney Bus. And then there's a Latino guy who's there because he's religious and speaks with a Latino accent, maybe? I don't know. Then there's the Irish guy who blew something up.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh.
I literally had to pause the movie. I stopped painting at that point, paused the movie, and just had to sit in silence for a couple of seconds because I was like, yes, what was this? It's obviously partially written by J.K. Rowling, Seamus McCarbomb, which I stole from a tweet.
Sitting there, like you can see the writing the script and going like, can you racially profile an Irish person?
Yeah! Nah! Yes, you can actually. Holy fucking shit. But yeah, it was played by was it like Reek from Game of Thrones? And I'm like, I don't think you're Irish. I don't know. I can't tell. Everyone sounds like they're from Yorkshire to me. You're either from Yorkshire or you're from fucking London.
Notoriously bad at telling accents from the British Isles, though.
I am. I'm like, oh my god, is that person from Ohio?
Is that a West Country accent? They're from Liverpool.
I'm like, yeah, I know what I said.
In the West?
Ish.
Counts.
Yeah. But, and then there's Keegan-Michael Key and like the other guy who's also a loony because he has Tourette's syndrome. But he only has Tourette's syndrome for the first 15 minutes of the movie and when it would be quote-unquote funny to have it.
Oh. So
he says stuff like, kick you in the cock or whatever. And it's very funny. And like Keegan-Michael Key and Tourette's guy are there because it's insinuated that they're like romantically involved, but it is played for laughs, which pissed me off. Because I was like, actually that would be like a moderate kind of thing. Because they were like in the same squad and those were the only two left out of the entire squad. And I'm like, is this referencing Mac and Blaine's relationship from Predator 1? Because he does, when he's on first night watch after Blaine's death, talk about like, oh yeah, remember that? Like, just you and me, we walked out without a scratch, but everyone else is chopped into pieces. Just you and me. It's like, are they trying to insinuate that Mac and Blaine were a couple or had some kind of like romantic kind of entanglement, which would be fine, but they do it as in like, haha, gays. And it's like, what fucking year is this?
It does. Everything you have told me about this movie, aside from the fact that you refer to one of the characters as Tourette's guy, and that obviously just gives me a certain image of the movie. Mm-hmm. But it does sound like a throwback to the era of the original Predator movie. In none of the good ways. Like, all of the things where, as a society, we have since then gone, yeah, we probably shouldn't put that in movies.
Yeah, maybe don't have the good guys drop the F slur as just an insult.
Oh, do they do that?
Jesse Ventura does it within the first 5 minutes.
I know he does in the original movie, but that was made in the 80s.
Oh, they don't drop the F slur in this. Okay, yeah. No, like, credit where it's...
Yeah, I'm saying it's a throwback to that era.
Well, no, it's done very kind of like, if DC had, like, a knockoff Joss Whedon, because a lot of it is very kind of, like...
They don't need a knockoff Joss Whedon. They've just had Joss Whedon.
I know, but, like, they literally have a thing where, like, they just call it the Predator. Like, when it's lying there on the, like, sedated, like, in the start of the movie, he's the gum-chewing guy. I can't remember his name. He's a prolific actor. He was in the fantastic episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, actually probably one of my favorites, where... There's a dentist that they know has killed his co-worker, but he covered his steps so perfectly, and he's this smarmy fucking guy. And Holton and Peralta try and get him to confess, and he's got everything covered. And he's just so self-assured, so smarmy, and so fucking, like together. It's played by that actor, and honestly, he's great. He did great with what he has, honestly. But yeah, and like, he's like, hey... ready to meet a predator? And she's like, the scientist woman is like, what do you mean? It's like, oh, that's just what we call them. They hunt prey and they seem to really enjoy it. And she goes, well, actually, like, wouldn't that make it like a hunter? Because predators hunt prey to survive. And like, you know, that would make it more of like, you're describing a bass fisherman. And he's like, oh yeah, well, we all agree, but predator sounds cooler. And like, this conversation is used like 2 more times. Where they're like, oh, actually, it's more of a hunter than a predator. It's like, just don't call it a predator. Call it that fucking alien. That fucking thing. Call it the alien. Call it anything but the title of the fucking movie.
I kind of like it that the Predator is just like the name of the series, and it's not something that actually is said a lot.
It isn't. I mean,
you know, it's not really. They don't it's not. We call it the Predator, but like it's not.
I mean, Billy literally in the first one, it's like, you know, they make the realization that they're being knocked off one by one, and like, you know, Dutch is literally like, oh, like it's killing us one by one, and Billy just goes like a hunter, just as an aside.
Yeah.
And then it's not really harped on. It's just, oh, okay, let's fucking kill this damn thing. But you know, and it's just like, they say the word predator so much, it's so fucking irritating. And then I don't really feel uncomfortable spoiling this movie, but I'm going to keep it relatively spoiler light. Like, they get back, they hijack the bus, they go to Stephen Murphy's house, and his kid isn't there. He's trick-or-treating in the Predator mask and gauntlet, which is such a great idea. Nice situational awareness, Mrs. Murphy.
Yep.
You just let your child who's on the spectrum just go trick-or-treating on his own, despite the fact that he has explicitly expressed, like, that he's being harassed for being different by bullies. And she's just like, go out trick-or-treating, sweetie, who gives a fuck if you die? Or, I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but basically. And, like, they make this child a murderer. Which is, like, he goes to, like, knock on, like, a door after getting shouted at by a couple of kids, like a couple of ableist, like, shitty kids. And then the kid, like, you know, they won't let him in because they're, like, a fraternity or something. So the kid leaves, and, like, one of the drunk frat kids throws, like, a can at the kid. And now, you might think predators, the Yautja, or however you pronounce it, are, like, incredible hunters. And yes, they have incredible technology. But when it comes down to it, they value their reflexes and a lot of other things like that. And they don't like to rely too heavily, too being the key word, on their technology. Hence why, you know, there's a bare-fisted fight between the Predator and Arnold Schwarzenegger's character, Dutch. Because it's like, oh no, this one is special. So, you know, you'd think that if someone threw a can at a Predator, which we've seen people throw shit at Predators before, and them just be like, what? Okay. No, their helmets auto-attack. The targeter is now a missile launcher. And you could say maybe it's a different model. It does look chrome and like, you know that weird Star Trek thing where everything was really shiny?
Yeah.
Everything to do with the Predator is like that now. And, like, the kid turns around and the helmet just fires off a fucking, like, rocket and just explodes the fraternity house, presumably killing multiple fucking young people.
It was just a fraternity, nothing of value was
I
lost.
appreciate that, but in the movies we can pretend that maybe those people contributed to society, and not in a capitalist way.
We can so we can suspend our disbelief for a moment.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, you've just made that child a murderer. That's so fun. It's not even really played. Like, the kid's fine. I mean, good, because if they tried to, like, explore the emotional impact of that on a child, I know that they would have fucking flubbed it. But then, like, a bunch of, like, CIA agents, like, raid his house. Do you know what's in the child's bedroom?
I mean, after the CIA have gone in there, a dead dog, presumably.
No, they don't have a dog. They bought them a dog and then shot it.
Oh.
But, you know, a poster on the child's wall. This, like, 9-10-year-old child... in this movie that was like 3 years old, a penny arcade poster.
That is a weird detail.
Yeah, I noticed that. I was like, what fucking 9-year-old is reading Penny Arcade? Because it's literally, now it's just...
Who reads Penny Arcade anymore, frankly?
I don't know. I don't think even the dudes who write it read Penny Arcade. I used to like Penny Arcade.
Yeah, I used to.
I kind of got bored of them defending, like, big companies. I mean, maybe they don't do that anymore, but I kind of felt that they were kind of leaning on that a bit much, and it just wasn't for me. But yeah, I was just like, what fucking child is reading Penny Arcade in the year of our Lord, 2019 or whenever it was released? So that was super weird. Blah, blah, blah. It turns out there's a giant predator after the normal predator.
Oh.
And this predator is all CGI and looks like fucking pubic hair.
Ah, cool. It's much worse predator.
It's like you can tell that the people who wrote this obviously at least liked the original Predator.
Wasn't like the guy who wrote it, he had something to do with the original movie?
Yeah, maybe he's been hit in the head since. We just don't know, okay? We just don't know.
He's also There's something dodgy about him, and I can't remember exactly what.
I don't think it's good. I don't know what it is, but I know it's.
I remember there being
good.
articles about him.
Yeah, and like, but like it's like all the blood is CGI. All the gore is CGI. Boo. I mean, like, there is, like, you see an upside down, like, strung up body that's, like, at the very beginning. It's like, okay, so that's a practical effect, but everything else is, like, CGI, and it's fucking awful. It's like, yeah, like, Predator fans don't want CGI blood. I don't think anyone, like, regardless of your feelings on, you know, Predator movies, I don't think anyone likes CGI blood. It's fucking terrible. Absolutely garbage. And it ends with them, like, the Predator using text-to-speech to talk to them, like I'm going to call it the jailer Predator.
Alpha, here's your next series that's free.
If the Predator had text-to-speech.
If the Predator had text-to-speech.
Yeah, get on that, my man. But no, and like, it's because the main character's surname, well, assumed name, because it's Stephen Murphy under an assumed name, is McKenna. And the Predator is like, there is one true champion, one true warrior amongst you, and it is McKenna. Oh, I bet he's really good at sex and has a big winky. Oh, it doesn't say that, but it's just, oh, he's so cool, and he is allowed a head start because I'm gonna hunt him down and fucking kill him. And the main guy's like, shit. Guess I'm gonna fight a predator, and then they all just get murdered in the woods by the jailer Predator. And it turns out they were talking about the child, because, you know, he's the only one who can figure out predator language. So instead of just killing the kid, because, spoiler alert, I'm spoiling it all, I don't care, it's a fucking terrible movie, don't watch it. The reason predators remove spines and skulls is not for trophies. It's so they can withdraw, like, the spinal fluid and then, like, synthesize, like, a weird gene alteration kind of thing to upgrade themselves, to make themselves better hunters. Which is fucking stupid. No, they just take trophies. Don't be fucking weird about it.
It very much sounds like fan fiction.
It is, but it gets so much worse.
I don't mean that to be disparaging of fan fiction. I mean that
there's a certain bad type of fan fiction that is that has a very specific kind of feel to it, and this very much is that.
Okay, I guess a more particular, a more specific way is it feels like what happens when people are trying to expand the canon of something, but they don't have the people in charge of that canon behind them going, yeah, that doesn't really match.
They don't have Jim and John Thomas present. Yeah, John Thomas is his real name.
Yeah. There's no one trying to keep a coherent world. It's just someone spinning off in their own direction.
Yeah, and like, I don't want to criticize this movie for trying something new. I just want to criticize this movie for trying something new that was fucking stupid.
I don't want to criticize it for doing something new. I want to criticize it for being shit.
Yeah, I'll criticize it for being shit. But yeah, so instead of just pulling out this kid's spine, it goes to the pod and is like, I'll kidnap your child. And then they have like we need to take down the spaceship bullshit, and it's fucking garbage, and it's fucking tiring. And then the kid just works at the CIA because he's a class traitor or something, I don't know. And it turns out the Predator that originally came to Earth, not the original Predator, because fucking Christ knows how long they've been doing that for, but the original Predator in the movie, the one that crash landed, and just decided to kill a bunch of dudes. Just a little cheeky murder. Why not? That's fine. Was actually trying to save us. This Predator values humanity and is like, I don't know, like an eco-terrorist on Predator, like land or whatever. It's not. It's like, so it steals a weapon and brings it to Earth because humans are going extinct because global warming. And they don't want us to go extinct because we're so fun to kill. So it's like, they're at the end, and Stephen Murphy is like, wow, I'm like a general or some shit now. That's cool. Guess like all that stuff was fine. Because the thing is, they start out with a bit of the theme of like in the beginning of the movie, it's kind of like, oh, the military-industrial complex is a machine that chews up well-meaning individuals, and look what it does to people who have sacrificed so much. You know, isn't that horrible? But then like 5 minutes later, it goes, you know what? The military is awesome, and everyone who suffers is actually okay because that doesn't happen. and, Irish people, am I right? And, like, all of that shit is completely brushed under the carpet. And he's a general now, and his fucking 10-year-old son is working at the CIA in the Alien Division.
Good.
And he's like, I've translated all that alien text, Dad. He sent us a weapon. It's called the Predator Killer, and, like, it's a gauntlet that attaches to a scientist, and it freaks out. And then it's this horrible CGI, like, robot predator. It's like an Iron Man suit, but it's got a predator mask on. And then it pops off. And then, like, one of the guys is like, it's my time to prompt Steve Murphy to say the ending line that actually leads into sequel bait. Oh my God, what was that? And he was like, well, that, Bubba, was my new suit. And then it's like, it ends, and I'm like, I don't want a TV anymore. I don't want that. That's bad.
It sounds like a very bad movie. Although I won't lie, the movie you're describing feels...
It feels like two different kind of movies.
I was going to say,
together.
It sounds too shit to really exist, and so I do kind of want to watch it.
Watch it. I watched it on Disney Plus, and it was fucking... Oh, and I forgot the worst part, which is like, which is on par with American Funniest Home Videos. Oh. So it's really fucking unfunny. When they're running out of the bus, the loony bus, I'm not insensitive, that's what they call it. The leader points at a bunch of motorbikes and goes, "Get to the choppers!" Plural. Yeah, that was my response, actually. I was just like, oh, okay, this is fucking where we are, right? We can put a man on the fucking moon, but this is what we've got. But no, it's like, I'm not angry it's that bad. I'm just kind of surprised, because it's fun to complain about. So it's at least got that going for us. So I derive my entertainment.
It has given us... 15 minutes of content, so I suppose it's not entirely... entirely without merit.
But yeah, if you're a Predator fan, you want to watch it, go into it with the knowledge that it's not fantastic, and maybe you get to see some Predators, and like the guy in the suit, in the first Predator suit, doesn't have like his actual eyes, which is always my biggest thing. So I don't care how rubbery the suit is. Yeah.
You don't like the eyes in Predator 2?
No, the eyes in Predator 2 are stupid. It's like the eyes in fucking Nightmare on Elm Street 2. It's fucking dreadful. Stop it. The scariest thing is, like, to me, like, the coolest fucking part is, like, when Kevin Peter Hall, the suit actor for the Predator in Predator, has got Arnold cornered in, like, a tunnel. And he goes to move in, and he notices that there's carved spikes, and he kind of feels them, and he looks down, and he gives, just with his eyes, the most, dude, are you fucking serious? like, look, and I'm like, you can't replicate that. Like, you can't do that with plastic eyes.
You need that with a physical actor
you need a physical actor in there to just cast the, dude, are you fucking kidding me? Yeah. Which transcends language, by the way. Love that. Love that for Predators and humans. But yeah, and one last thing I'll very quickly touch upon. I've been playing Far Cry 5, which I stopped playing because there is the main bad guy and everything about it is basically it's Alex Jones, and he's got his own compound, and he's convinced a bunch of people that he's like the Messiah or some shit, and it's personally very triggering for me, which is why I stopped playing it a good few hours in, because I love the gameplay. The gameplay is fantastic, but I fucking hate the story. I don't want anything to do with the story. Don't fucking come near me with that shit. Fucking miss me with that fucking, like, because when they filmed, like, I don't know if I'll be able to explain this very well, but when they filmed, like, the scenes for Far Cry 3 with Voss, which was an unexpected, like, the actor they had, Michael Mando, he came in and just ignored all the direction that he'd been given for the character he was actually auditioning for, which was a character called, I think, Lupo, who was this big, strong, silent type guy. And he just went fucking bananas, and the team was so loved his performance so much, they wrote Voss for him to play. And you can tell because it was done at the very last minute at moderate expense.
And that's why he disappears from the game, like halfway through.
In, and you're just like, well, the rest of it is really boring. And they're doing that with the fucking the evangelist guy, but the way they do it, it almost seems like the fucking director of the shot thinks this guy is correct, which is what fucks me up. I mean, I don't think that's what they were doing, but they're trying to like frame this guy as like, look how cool this guy is. He's this horrifying fucking murder religious dude who's like operating on US soil and no one cares and he has guns and shit and blah and blah and blah and who the fuck cares? And it's frustrating for me because, well, one, I grew up in a house and my father is basically that man. Sans, like, you know, guns or anything. Like, my father was a religious fucking psychopath. And that kind of person should never be put on a pedestal. I don't think I can't say I don't think they should just not be in fiction anywhere because that is my triggers talking. And I feel that there will be a way to do that in there's a way to portray that.
100% is, yes.
There's a way to there's a way to correctly and tastefully portray pretty much everything. But I mean, it's Ubisoft. They didn't fucking cut it. They didn't do it. I feel like they are kind of like making out that this guy's so cool and like always crazy, like they did with Vass, who was just a fucking crazy dude. You could, you know, he just wanted to fuck shit up, and good for him.
There wasn't a real-world ideology that is currently causing massive pain and suffering that Vass was directly alluding to.
No.
Whereas this guy, there is. So...
Yeah, and the fact that Ubisoft explicitly came out and went, oh, it's not political because we're fucking cowards. I added the second part, but
I would say it's one of the more overt. It's doing politics. Like I'm saying, it does it in a kind of cowardly way, but it's still thoroughly doing politics.
They're like that's the thing. It's like, you know, you could have teeth about this, and you could have something to fucking say, but no, you're too scared about it hurting your profit margins. So fucking whatever. But I stopped playing that because it started forcing me into the story more and more, and I'm like, I don't want to do it. And again, This is me talking from someone who has a lot of triggers and a lot of fucking hang-ups with overly religious people who use that to harm you. So, you know, I was like, okay, my friend Longfang, we were going to stream, and I was like, do you want to play Far Cry 5 and we'll just do Outposts and shit? And he was like, or we could play Far Cry New Dawn, which is like what they did with Far Cry 3. They had Blood Dragon and, you know, like Far Cry 4, they had Primal. So there's always like a side game where it's always way more fun, way more pretty, and way more interesting. Far Cry 3 notwithstanding. So I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll play New Dawn. It's on sale, and I immediately loved it because it's like post-apocalypse, post-nuke going off. So spoilers for Far Cry 5. There's a nuke that goes off, and it kind of is like 17 years from that, and it carries on. And everything's really colourful. All the animals are weird, different colours because of the environment they've adjusted to, and you know, like everything's done with trading and crafting. And I'm like, this feels a lot more Far Cry 3 in a weird way, and that's not a negative. Like, you know, you craft everything. You need to go hunting for animal pelts. You need to go hunting for like, oh, I need this herb and this herb to like make a health pack. And, you know, do stuff like that. And I'm like, I actually really like this. And I was really fucking enjoying it. I've poured hours into it. And then it fucking grabs you by the scruff of the neck and goes, having fun? Remember the bad guy from Far Cry 5? I'm going to rub your nose in it until your fucking skin comes off. And I literally was playing it last night. And I was like, through gritted teeth. Because it's like, oh, he appears...
You just want to get to the other side of it.
I just want to get to the part where I can fucking follow the other story and get away from this shit that is fucking tedious and I hate. And it's like, he comes to you in a dream and is all like, oh, I don't know. I was literally just cussing and like, I had to like turn the volume down. I had to be on my phone during cutscenes because it wouldn't let me skip some of them because I was like, I can't watch this. I'll get too fucking mad. But I want to play this game. Fuck off. So he's like sucking his own dick and like being like, oh yes, as the father of blah blah, I don't know, just really dangerous shit, and it's portrayed in this like, oh look how like incredibly like, oh what's the word, look how incredibly poetic and profound he's being. Oh, isn't it so cool? And I'm like, no, it's not. And then like you get to like a part after that where you meet the guy, spoilers, I don't fucking care, I hate this fucking character so much. And it's like, now you can double jump because he's blessed you, and it's like, fucking excuse me?
That is weird.
I love the double jumping ability, but yeah. Anyway, my damage aside, I'm really, really enjoying Far Cry, New Dawn. The Joseph Seed parts are fucking cringe and I hate them. You might be okay with them, that's fine, but I fucking hate them so much and it has severely damaged my enjoyment of the game. But yeah, it's fun kind of wandering around. You get like a bunch of different companions that you have. I have a dog called Timber who is really cool and is really cute, and you can pet the dog at any point.
Good
to know.
Yeah, and you get like a big boar as well called Horatio, who can be your buddy, and you can pet Horatio at any time.
I'm glad
he is a monster hog.
He's
a
monster hog.
I love him.
I have been on the hunt for monster hogs.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry I took up so much time. I'm all done ranting and raving and being angry and stuff. Sorry. I guess I've had a lot of shit on my mind and I haven't been able to get it out. So thank you, the MisanthroPod, for being my therapy. And also, sorry, the MisanthroPod.
For being your therapy.
Yeah, if it helps, I do have a therapist appointment booked for next week. So fingers crossed. I don't explode? I don't know.
Questions? Yes, we have some.
Yay!
From all the lovely people who unpromptedly, is that word? Unprompted, completely unprompted, and definitely without us apparently telling them off, seemingly, sent in some questions to the email.
Keep up that momentum, everyone, because I will keep blackmailing you.
Mostly, or at least not insignificantly, people who are like, no, I'm not going on Twitter for this.
That's fair.
Which, yeah, very fair.
Okay, yeah, so if you want to send us a question, what email address should it be sent to, Matthew?
onlydrummermat@gmail.com.
I'm sorry, that is incorrect.
It's the drummermat.
Oh shit! Yeah, it's
the drummermat@gmail.com. Please send them there if you don't want us to go to Twitter and completely ignore the emails.
Some people sent them to the special old email address, which is what confused me.
Oh, you fucking
they're the best people.
Contrarian shits. Okay.
Mostly, hey, someone, and I can't remember which of the persons it was, but someone said they sent it to the old email address, not the new one, because they couldn't remember the new one, but they could remember the old one. So
I can't remember the old one. The only drummermat @snipeandwib@gmail.
Don't say it out loud.
It's been banished.
Oh god, I've willed it back into existence. I'm so sorry.
Anyway, questions. It's been going on for too long. I'm sleepy.
Let's not dwell on too many of them. But yeah, apology. At least 5 of them involve Pedro Pascal. So
I'm listening.
Good, your lord.
Yes, I'm alert. I am here. I am moisturized, and I am ready to get in someone else's lane.
Just try and keep any rants about Pedro Pascal to a minimum, because I'm just leaving in 15 minutes' time.
Okay.
Yeah, fair. Agent Sinister.
Hello, Agent Sinister.
First up, happy birthday. From some point between when the email came in and now, which is not today.
It's not
or any time recently. No, to Agent Sinister. It's their birthday.
Oh, happy birthday. I didn't realize.
It was their birthday at some point since the email was sent, so in the last few months, possibly.
Okay. That's such a power move of opening a letter to someone else congratulating them on their birthday, because then they'll sit there and go, fuck, is it my birthday? Yeah. What?
Are there any video game worlds that you think would be a nice holiday destination? They've been on a bit of an Assassin's Creed kick and thought the Renaissance Venice would be cool to visit, or I imagine Stinky.
Well, yeah, I can't wait to pick up 18 new STDs.
But we
from,
can ignore we can ignore things like things in the past that are obviously worse. But we can
as they're portrayed in the game.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good question.
You could always go to the place that Super Mario Sunshine is based on. That looks nice.
Okay.
Isle Delfino, I think it's called.
You want a Latino?
No, Isle Delfino.
Oh, that's way better.
Which I think that's what it's called. It's been a long time since I played it. That's just the first thing that came to mind.
Drummond Cass from SWOTOR. I'm just kidding. I want to go to I was going to say Aquavitina, but that's been raised. So,
I don't know what that is.
That's where Din Djarin was born and raised.
Okay, but that's not a video game.
Yeah, but it still exists with the fucking Star Wars universe, so shut your butthole. I don't know, I'm having a lot of trouble.
Matt, then what have you got?
I think Citadel would be quite fun.
Yeah. Mass Effect.
I know.
Yeah.
Mass Effect, or Slime Rancher.
Oh, yeah.
The one that I'd go and get a kitty slime and just hang out, and it'd be really nice and charming.
I mean, you want to think they'd feel like a Squishmallow, but I feel they actually just sticky.
I think they'd be smooth and wet.
Yeah.
They'd be like touching like you know when you're in like a fetish club and you rub up against someone who's in like a full vinyl kind of gear, but they've obviously picked up like 3 other people's sweat on the outside.
So it's just like touching our mate Dicko.
Yeah, it's just like touching Dicko. So I feel that, but no, as I'm perceiving it, the kitty slime and all the slimes are very soft and squeegee and cute and loving. So so Slime Ranch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Paraphrasing slightly. Silly question. Replace one Star Trek character with either Oscar Isaac, Pedro Pascal, or Nick Cage if you're feeling adventurous.
Oh, that's my dream blunt rotation. To be fair, I just want to smoke weed with Nicolas Cage because he'd be like, dinosaurs, they probably would like jazz music. I feel they'd like jazz music.
Replace Wesley Crusher. Replace Wesley Crusher with Nick Cage.
Oh no, I want Picard replaced with like engage, and he does the point like he does from fucking Ghost Rider, so it's like really overacted and like Riker, fucking Deanna Troi, literally anyone. It's poetry.
Yeah.
Oh, Nicolas Cage, and also Oscar Isaac and Pedro Pascal, I think would make a really good Doctor and Neelix because I think Oscar Isaac he has resting bitch face, so he could do the Doctor like from DS9 really well.
I don't know. I don't think he's got the same type of like
he's too nice.
Neurotic petulance.
Yeah, that's actually true. Yeah. I
mean, he's an actor, so maybe he
is an actor. Maybe he could pretend.
But I don't know. I think that role is kind of it's Robert Picardo's role. I don't know if anyone can.
Although I would love to see Pedro Pascal as 7 of 9, but they don't change the outfit.
He periodically passes out.
Oh, now I'm sad.
Oh, you don't want me to tell you anything about that?
No, I don't, because I know I don't want to know. But no, I think that'd be cool.
You got anything, Matt?
No, I'm just picturing them all as Nick Cage now, and I can't get away from that.
Nicolas Cage is America's greatest natural resource, and you cannot convince me otherwise. He's incredible.
Yeah, you can't exhaust him.
Right. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna actively I threatened to kill you before the podcast's begun, but now I'm planning it. I'm not really. I'll kill you with kindness and buy you some of those Gilvan chocolates that you really like, because I know you really like those.
On YouTube? A being sometimes called... I was getting you a get out. You're only going to kill me on YouTube. It's fine.
Yeah, okay. As a prank, bro.
Yeah. A being sometimes called Doody. Are any of you Studio Ghibli fans? And if so, do you have a favourite one?
Not really. I've been Ghibli adjacent because a couple of our friends are really into them. Spirited Away was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think I've seen that one and Howl's Moving Castle. I think they're the only ones I've watched. I liked them. I don't remember enough about either of them to say which one was my favourite.
I just know that the food in them always makes me fucking ravenously hungry, because it's like you take something so basic as like bacon, eggs, and rice, and you make it look like the most delicious fucking meal. And it's like, I don't know how you do that, but stop it, please, because nothing will ever be as tasty as what you're showing. But
yeah, it's very much I just haven't got around to watching more of them, rather than any like antipathy towards them or anything. Yeah. I enjoyed the ones I saw, and I've just never got around to watching the others.
What about you, Drumbly Bum?
Yeah, I really enjoy them. My favourite at the moment would be, I think, Kiki's Delivery Service, but that's possibly because it's the most recent one I've watched.
I have heard it is really, really good, though. So
yeah. Right, next up. Snipe, an MB under the stairs. A question for Snipe. If you
I'm the MB under the stairs.
They are.
Oh, hello, fellow Sib.
Sorry, I phrased that really weirdly.
You did.
If you could kiss any Mandalorian, excluding Din Djarin and Boba Fett, who would it be and why?
Oh, it's got to be the originator, Jango Fett, like pre getting his head removed, because that'd be fucked up. Just pick up the helmet and go, mine, and just run into, just Boba Fett's watching me with tears in his eyes, being like, this is going to be interesting to remember in therapy. I mean, young Tamira Morrison, come on. I'm gesturing. You can't see what I'm like. And I punch Gus Saxon in his fucking taint. I don't like him. Oh, maybe I could kiss Bo-Katan, but I wouldn't enjoy it as much because I'm not really into femmes. So yeah, Jango Fett, absolutely, with his head still attached. Because fucking hell. Okay.
I'm gonna forward you a picture because that's reminded me. You're gonna have to describe this one on the audio.
The audio media that we are currently. Okay, is it the Photoshop where little baby Boba's holding Jango's?
Check your phones, but you're just head still attached. Reminded me of this.
What phone? Okay,
your phone.
Oh
do you have anyone?
God.
Do you have anyone else's? This is how I woke up this morning.
Okay, so there's a picture of Drama in a double bed, and he looks like a cute little baby with a beard, and he is looking visibly disgruntled. The left-hand side of the bed is empty, apart from a gigantic Lego horse helmet.
That is what it looks like. It's like a cardboard, stick the slots together type
so
thing.
I'm guessing your son made you an offer you couldn't refuse.
Yeah, apparently.
It's fucked up, dude. Nice.
Is that what you woke up to?
Yeah, that's what I woke up to this morning.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Sorry, you just reminded me when he said the head still attached. I was like, oh God, flashbacks. Right, next up, moving on, David.
Hello.
This is presumably related to something we've said in the past. Bananas and crab sticks are two of their favourite separate snacks.
That's disgusting, David.
Crab separate, not combined. I wouldn't.
Yeah,
I wouldn't go.
You can't eat bananas. That's a war crime. Like, morally, bananas are fucking gross and terrible and will kill you.
It depends how many are dropped on you, I suppose.
Yeah, or how many you eat.
No, they're horrible.
It was the
they're
drink that killed him.
We share half of our DNA with them, and they should be launched into fucking space and forgotten about. I fucking hate bananas. Crab sticks are delicious, though, so nice one.
Yeah, fair. For the question, which Transformer should Pedro Pascal provide a voice for?
Scroppy.
Scorponok.
Yeah.
Scroppy.
No, I think he'd be. He has done a voice. He's played a hairless cat in like an adult animation thing. It's just doing his voice, which is.
When you say adult animation,
adult like a cartoon.
What's that got to do with Transformers?
Well, no, I'm thinking kind of like voice work.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think if he was in a Michael Bay movie, he'd be some racist caricature. But
all Transformers in Michael Bay ones are an offensive caricature of something.
They really are. I'm thinking.
Optimus Prime is an offensive caricature of Optimus Prime, for one.
Back in my day, yeah.
Oh man, I hate those movies.
Dinobot. Just because that was my favourite growing up. Even though you kind of have to have the weird hiss kind of thing going on.
And not always. The most recent version of him on screen doesn't have that.
Okay, even better. Okay. I've forgotten his name.
Cool, good answer.
Good.
He's a fucking
Transformer,
Grimlock,
presumably.
Grimlock. Yeah.
Which version of Grimlock?
Me, Grimlock.
Oh, so stupid Grimlock.
Yeah.
Okay, good Grimlock. Okay.
I just want to.
I actually really like the modern, the version of him from Cyberverse was great because he was basically the Marvel version of Thor when he was in bot mode. So he was like he was all like, "What hail there, fellow travelers? Let us go on an adventure." But then when he turned into dinosaur mode, he became like G1 moron Grimlock. It was a wonderful combination.
So yeah, that's my final answer, Grimlock.
Okay.
Nice.
I don't think he'd be able to do it at all, but I don't care.
All right, biggest knickers.
Careful.
Yeah. Fuck. So this one we could get bogged down on, so let's
okay.
not. But it's a good
question. Try and keep it snappy. Okay.
You talk about band stuff and musical adventures too. I think this is coming off the back of them saying they enjoy our other conversations. But never get into the specifics with it in the same way that you do with other topics, specifically about the gear. I'm a musical gearhead. I'm a musical...
Sorry, did I completely disarm you with that?
I'm a musical gearhead, and I'd love to hear other people talk about their musical gubbins. So, would you be so kind as to talk about the stuff you like to use?
I am.
He's got a Gibson SG.
I don't give. I'm basically. I got a Gibson SG and a Marshall valve state amp. At a certain point, and went, "Yep, that's how I like things to sound," and then never budged an inch, ever for any reason. So yeah, that's me. I unfortunately I am like the one guitarist who just doesn't give a shit about pedals and stuff. So I'm just like, this is fine.
I've been wanting to add a big muff to my pedal collection. That is to say, I have no pedals. I want that to be the only one in my collection because distorted bass sounds gorgeous.
I can't actually remember what your bass is because you got
it's
a new
one. It's a knockoff Ibanez, but it's like a real fancy one.
Yeah, I can't remember what brand it is. I
can't remember it all. But it's absolutely fucking gorgeous. It sounds so smooth. It's like a half step shorter than a normal bass.
No, it's not. I think it's just the way the neck is.
Oh god, I'm thinking of Adam's fucking bass. What am I doing? Because he has a similar looking kind of one. And I use any amp I can if I'm not plugged directly into the DI. Because I don't care. I literally have never had a choice. It's just use this, and I'd never had enough money to buy my own amp. So
yeah, I think that's it.
It was just like, it was one of our old friends was like, I'm selling my amp for like 50 quid, and I was like, yes.
It was 30 quid.
Oh, it was 30 fucking quid, which is, I think it's starting to go a bit out now.
I think part of the problem with us is that like we spent most of the time during the band basically with no money. So
it was whatever we fucking got.
We had to use what equipment we had, and that was it.
I was using a 120 pounds Yamaha like knockoff Ibanez for like 10 years, and that honestly is one of the nicest sounding bass guitars I have ever had the fucking joy of using.
Yeah, those Yamaha like intro basses were lovely.
They were like for 120 quid, fucking incredible sound.
It was like the equivalent of a Pacifica precision bass, like that sort of level of like cost, but like infinitely nicer.
Yeah, I hate precision. I hate Fender basses. They feel horrible. They feel like cheese. Bad.
Did I say Pacifica precision bass?
You said Pacifica. I think
I meant to say Squire. It's the Pacifica's the
that's the electric guitar that you started with.
Yeah, that's the because that was a Yamaha Pacifica. That was a knockoff.
Which was also a very nice guitar until the electrics got busted in it, But yeah, no, it's really funny, like, going and playing, like, being recorded for albums on my fucking, like, my fucking 8-year-old, like, Yamaha introduction bass, and then the people recording me going, what bass is that? Like, that can't be that. And I'm like, it is. And they're like, how the fuck does it sound so good? And I'm like, I know.
Why is it so nice?
I know! I lucked out. I lucked out completely by accident. Yeah. So yeah, Jerome, Matt, what about you?
I'm desperately trying to Google who makes my cymbals. But
Zildjian.
No, I didn't get Zildjians. I got cheaper ones. It might. I can't remember.
Wait, no, you.
Yeah,
I'm trying sure to look. You brought one in, and you told us the family history of the guy who made them.
Possibly, yeah, I might have done. My brother's got Zildjian ones because he's like,
good
he's
at fancy. And shit. Fuck, dude, if you think he's good at drumming and you're not, I don't want to see what you think is bad.
Well, he knows what he's doing at least, whereas I just hit stuff and like, I'm lucky enough that it's vaguely in time.
Look, I don't think we're a band that really prizes knowing what we're doing.
It's not the best. I know, I'm really sorry. I want to get into it because I did loads of research and got these cymbals because they were like, but I can't remember any of it. Like, cymbals are made by like, some of them are like cast and some of them are just a sheet metal that's been pressed. And these ones are like the cheapest of the better option, I think, but I can't remember which is better and what. I did research on it at the time, but that was like 10 years ago.
One would presume casting because that requires more infrastructure than pressing.
Yeah, so. And these were like, I can't remember at all. I don't know. And then I think I used the Remo heads because that's basically all you can get. You know, the drum skin things.
Yeah.
I've got a maple snare, and the other snare is a piccolo snare that doesn't have a brand on it.
What type of? I know the answer.
My
what
cowbell
type of drumsticks do you use?
Oh, I use 7A ones, which is the size, not the type. The brand, it doesn't. The brand is just whatever. Vistaprint, no, not Vistaprint. Awesome merch sold because I got some that said Drumblebee on them, so because I thought it was funny. So
I think
it's whatever.
They're pretty legit. They're pretty good.
Off-brand that I could get on bulk discount, but they have my name printed on, so they felt like I wasn't taking the cheap option.
I feel like the person who we're responding to
he's
just going like, I thought I was going to get like a good answer,
sorry.
not these idiots using whatever they've got lying around.
Yeah, sorry, Nick. I'm not going to say the full name because it can sound wrong. Biggest Nick.
Biggest Nickus. Yeah, it's...
Careful.
Yeah,
sorry for such a disappointing answer.
Really sorry.
I use the bass guitar with got strings on it.
Yeah, it's well good.
It's well good.
Yeah. I recently bought a new guitar though, actually. If you're interested.
What'd you buy?
I bought
it's a pink one.
Black Star guitar, which I know they don't make guitars, they make amps, but now they make guitars. Okay. And I bought their travel guitar, which is like 3/4 size, but it uses thicker strings, so they're tuned to the same tuning, so they're not like. Because if you try to tune normal ones, they'd be slack and it'd be weird or too tight.
Drummer Matt.
Yeah. But I bought it because it's like. It doesn't have. It's got a small body as well and a smaller scale length, and I can fit it in a cupboard at work. So I've got it there because I'm having my lunch break for like half an hour, and I'm just sat like eating sandwiches or whatever. But I work in a lab by myself because weird headcount reasons, and like no one else is there. And I was like, I could use this time productively, and I never get to play guitar.
So stop masturbating for 5 minutes, and you bought a guitar.
Yeah, basically, and I and yeah, so I can get it out at lunchtime and like do a bit of guitar practice because I never get to play guitar because. I just don't have time at home, and without being in a band for something, like you don't get the kick up the arse to actually practice. Even being in a band with something, it's hard to actually bother practicing.
Especially if your like instrument consists of 8 different tables that you smack. I'm oversimplifying.
Well,
more like stools, honestly.
Yeah, have you guys ever played a guitar with like rubber strings?
That's more of a bass thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but like
no.
They're so weird. It's like it's clammy, and I get like
they're very weird.
You know how like if I use I use normal strings, I get like I tear up my fingertips anyway because I'm always sliding and being an idiot because I like to buy cheese grater strings. It's like that, but you like go like you skid down it. It's horrible, fucking awful. I'm sure some people get. Otherwise, why would they exist if some people didn't prefer them? But
you can make them so they glow in the dark, so that's one of the reasons.
That is really cool. But yes.
But yeah, sorry that wasn't a better answer, really.
Sorry.
Yeah. 2 left. Right, first up, Sentient Hair. First off, hello. Fuck you. That's me saying it to them, not them saying it to us.
Oh,
I can't remember why. Oh, it's because they were snarky. I can't remember. I said it before we started recording, and I can't remember.
It was like, here's a question. If you'll even decide to like bother to read it, you stupid butt face. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember, but fuck you in the nicest possible way. No, it wasn't, and I also obviously don't mean fuck you in a harsh way. But also fuck you.
Yeah.
Right, this is a tongue twister, I'm going to get it wrong. Philosopher Blaise Pascal proposed a wager about behaviour regarding the possible existence of God. This is called Pascal's wager.
I am familiar.
What is the celebrated Chilean-American actor Jose Pedro Balmaceda Pascal's wager?
What is his major?
What is his wager?
What is his wager? That he can finally get me to fall in love with him through constant bombardment of Instagram ads. I like DMing me.
Oh yeah, the actual
the real one.
He messages me like I literally get like 5 a week, being like, "Hello, I don't need a passport, but if I did, could I get one? And your bank account details." Love you. I literally okay.
Well, since Pascal's wager is that basically that if you don't believe in God, then the worst case scenario is you burn in hell. And if you do believe in God, the worst case scenario is there is no God and nothing happens. So you might as well.
There's a fundamental flaw. The worst case, if you do believe in God, is that you have to hang out with other people who also believe in God.
It's nonsense, but it's a bit of...
No, I know, but I decided to
get the gist,
be like, so this is so the worst part about believing that Snipe doesn't believe that I'm actually Pedro Pascal.
You see, I was thinking more that given how much,
or it's exactly the same because he's a smart man.
I was saying, given how much that people message you pretending to be Pedro Pascal.
There's a lot.
That Pedro Pascal's wager is related to that. So it's like, if you do respond to them, the worst case scenario is that
I get scammed out of $8,000.
You get scammed out of money. But but if you do respond to them, the best case scenario is that it's Pedro Pascal, and the worst case scenario being that
I
nothing
genuinely
happens.
Don't believe he would ever message a fan. Because that would be so gross.
But it's the wager is that you should respond to them because there is a chance that it is Pedro Pascal, and we just ignore the scam part.
My favourite was I messaged somebody.
I fucking know, I'm really sleepy. I can't do logic puzzles right now.
I'll try and be quick about this then. Every now and again, I decide to have a bit of fun with these people in my DMs who are pretending to be Pedro Pascal because, again, I genuinely don't believe he would ever do that because he has an awareness that would be like, no, I'm not. The massive power imbalance there is really fucked, and I'm not ever doing that. And also, he seems like he has anxiety, because he does, so he wouldn't do it. So, someone messaged me going, "Hello, fan, thank you so much for all your thing," and I was like, "Please stop pretending to be Pedro Pascal. It would be kick-ass if you were him, but I have cancer and I'm having a hard day." And they were like triple dotting typing for about 5 solid minutes, not even joking, and they went, We represent Mr. Pascal, and we'd like to tell you that he thinks that you're cool. And I was like, be better. And they were like, okay. Like, you could visibly see them going, oh shit, I've picked on a cancer patient. This is fucked. And I was like, yeah.
You can see you managed to make the scammer feel a little bad about what they were doing.
Good. Because, I mean, good. Yeah, so, yeah. But no. I guess that's Pascal's way. That's Pedro Pascal's wager.
Good. Right, very last question, and it's a nice one to end on.
Okay.
Pineapple Fantastico.
Hola.
What is your favourite specific weather condition?
My favourite specific weather condition, when it's about 16 degrees Celsius, the sun is out, and it's comfortable in the sun, but it's like a little cool in the shade. And the sky looks like it's going to rain like later tonight, but not right now. At the perfect time to have a barbecue.
I'd go for maybe like the specific temperature you get like on an early summer evening,
like 16 degrees.
So it's not too warm. It's not too warm, but it's warm enough that you can be out there in shorts and a t-shirt.
16-degree weather. Yeah.
You're Australian. You have no concept of what hot and cold means,
mate.
Yeah, 16 feels really cold for you.
No, 16 is cool. It's comfortable. It's nice.
But it's like barbecue weather. It's a little bit. The sky's starting to dim a little bit. And there's probably a nice cool breeze, but there's still the warmth left in the air.
Oh, I meant to have a nice kind of like slightly cool breeze as well. What about you?
It's a very similar answer. Slightly warmer.
16, 17 degrees.
I wasn't. I know the question specifically says specific, but I wasn't going to be specific. Mm-hmm. But apparently I have to now. So yeah, I'm going to go slightly warmer. But there was a dreamy evening. It isn't my favourite all the time, but it was when it was like the ridiculous 42-degree heat in Bordeaux.
Oh, that was brutal.
It was ridiculous. But the evenings when we were sat outside a bar at like close to midnight, but it was like low 20s.
Oh.
But it was dark, and we all had a pint and some nuts or whatever it was at the bar. And it was just beautiful, and everyone was like, it was so warm, but it was like also sort of the middle of the night, and it was a bit surreal, and that part of it was excellent. It wasn't quite worth it for the ridiculous daytime temperatures, but yeah, the evenings, that was, so if we're being specific to just that bit of it, that was pretty great.
So just go to Brisbane?
I think what we've established is that all of our ideal thing is like when it's warm, but not too much.
When it's warm, but not derogatory. That was a fun question. Yeah, nice.
Yeah. There we go. We are finished.
We are finished, and now both of you sleepy boys can go to Sleepy Boy Town.
Yeah, I'll go to bed.
No.
Fuck off. I'm going to bed.
Okay.
Fuck off.
Okay.
Bye.
I think he's gone.
He's actually he's left the studio, he's taking his headphones off and everything. So thank you everybody for joining us. That was great. Sorry about my weird rants. I hope that's not going to become a common thing. Oh, are you back now? Have you slept? Do you feel refreshed and alert and ready to face the fucking day?
I felt rude not saying goodbye
There
properly.
we go. You're too English. I love it. But yeah, say goodbye to the nice people.
Goodbye, everybody. I'm sorry I told you to fuck off.
Are you apologising to Matt and I?
No, not you. I've told you both to fuck off enough times. You used to it.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. We've come to expect it by now. But yes, thank you very much for listening, everybody. Take care of yourselves and goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.